All right, hello. I am ninten, and we have Kingdom Hearts 2 Level 1 Critical Mode any percent here today, and the first time it's being shown at a GDQ. And I'm joined by Spike, Vegeta, and JHobz.
Hello, hello. There's a lot of energy in the room right now. I mean, the collective thousands of rooms around the world watching GDQ right now. But this is hype. Ninten, I'm glad you're getting this opportunity to get to show one of our absolute favorite speed games on the planet. It's amazing. The journey you go on from someone with no tools to eventually someone with no stats but a few tools is really, really cool. So looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's going to be really awesome. All right, so I'm going to count down from 3. 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
All right.
All right.
Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. To get things started, Ninten's playing on a PS4. That version of the game runs at 60 frames per second, which is going to be very important later. But for the most part, all you need to know is that it runs buttery smooth, so it'll be nice and fun. And we are going to do our best to explain everything about this game in this short amount of time for, how much is in this game. So keep that in mind, folks. Even if you don't know anything about the run, be sure to tune in. What did he just pick up?
Yeah, so right here, at the beginning, we're in a bit of the tutorial world right here. We are playing as Roxas. If you, as a kid, played Kingdom Hearts 1 and then went straight into this, don't worry, we were all confused, even if you played the in-between game. But yeah, bit of a tutorial section going on right here. And right now, Ninten is actually doing some RNG manipulation. That's right, we have RNG manipulation in the run. So all those hits he did on Setzer right there was actually in a very specific order in order to manipulate the RNG to help him out with just a couple of fights here right at the beginning, particularly this Dusk. To note what JHobz was talking about earlier, there were those 3 bats in front of him. You had to pick one of them. Ninten took the one that gave him +1 strength. That's going to mean something for a little bit. Again, this is on level 1. Stats aren't going to mean too much.
Yeah, Cypher lets you RNG manipulate the beginning here, which this is kind of the first big reason you do it, so that the Dusk right there that you normally have to just swing at a bunch and can't actually hurt will just instantly take down your health. There's a lot of fights in this game that you can end early by losing a lot of health or by some other means, and because this is a level 1 run done on critical mode, you're going to lose health pretty quickly. So it's going to be the fastest way to handle most of those fights. And in this case, those couple of Dusks, that first Dusk in particular, it's really useful.
Yeah, so here in the Roxas section of the game, by the way, chat, I know, I called him Setzer. I mixed it up. I know. So I could hear JHobz extra hit it.
I was going to say, yeah.
But here we are in day 2 where we got to do some chores. We're going on, we got to make some money. And we're trying to do this little skateboard section. Can we get the sub 7? Oh my God, 686.
Oh,
what
686.
686. What an absolute legend right there.
It's basically your old numbers, but just in the wrong order, right? That's great. For now, the movement tools are pretty limited. Actually, tools in general in this game are limited at the moment. So you can see Ninten's picking up skateboards whenever he possibly can because they are going to be the fastest way to move around. Doing that little mail delivery got him a little bit of money, which was enough to progress the story, and that's really all that we care about at the beginning here. More skateboards to keep moving around as we keep doing things in simulated Twilight Town, which is just a little bit of a kind of tutorial world, as Spike was talking about earlier.
Now, the RNG manipulation that Ninten performed earlier on Cypher, not Setzer, actually continues into this fight with the Dusk as well. You saw earlier in the prior Dusk fight, he allowed the Dusk there, the basic enemy, to do a bit of a meat grind strat on him, take him down. There, he just had to deal 10 hits quickly enough, and that ended the fight. Now, we've got these 3 Dusks here in the Station of Serenity. So he knows that a 1-2, reset 1, reset 1-2-3 air combo will kill each of the Dusks. So he actually wants to count the hits on the other Dusks if they kind of get caught up in your prior combos, so he knows he can finish it faster. The reason why he's not just using the finishers right away is because while they do more damage than a base hit, it will also knock them away, and he wants to keep them close to effectively keep them in a stun lock. Now we're playing on critical mode. We get some bonus abilities.
Yes, so he puts on aerial recovery, reaction boost, finishing plus draw, and no experience at MPA Stera. The important thing to note about that is the no experience, which means that now he will not level up. He will not gain any more experience. So he's going to be stuck at level 1 for the entire run. This ability is only available on critical mode, so again, it's like as hard as it possibly could be. Aerial recovery is a really good movement utility to recover from getting hit. Reaction boost will help with some of these reaction commands that we'll talk about in just a second. Finishing plus can be a super useful combo modifier, and draw is going to be great for pulling in little like treasures and orbs and whatnot. But we got Twilight Thorn here, which is a great example of reaction commands, Spike.
Yeah. Open up right here, you're going to see a lot of times, and it's kind of the meme of this game. Oh, you just press triangle and you beat this game. I promise you Ninten's going to at least press the other buttons a few more times in order to get through this game. But yes, you're going to have a lot of these triangle-based reaction commands throughout the run. And just like JHobz was saying, those will be boosted from having that ability on that you get at the start of the run. It is worth talking about that here on critical mode, we will be overall have a better damage output than you would on actually the middle difficulties. There's a really cool balancing of this game on the higher difficulty that the devs built in. But here we are back into Twilight Thorn. We're in this tutorial world, but this is a very, very difficult boss. He wants to try to jump and land 4 full combos right here, even get in a bonus hit if he is able to. This is very hard to actually get these minimum height jumps with Roxas. Got the 4 combos, he's gonna come to the back. He's gonna try to do a full aerial combo with a second finisher on the end of it because of that finishing plus. Now the spacing is very precise right here to knock both those creepers away, walk away as that retaliation swipe comes in, get in 2 more combos, get out, aerial recovery back in from the creeper doing its thing, got to step back to keep himself safe and able to take out Twilight Thorn for the victory. Might seem like we were popping off right there for the tutorial boss. That tutorial boss on critical mode, especially on level 1, will kill you in a couple of hits, so you don't want him to do that. Great job, Ninten.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I was at I was like 1 shot away from death right there too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If I got caught by the creeper, it would have been over.
Absolutely. He puts on guard, which he just got from the boss as well. And now we're going to head into the struggle fights. So this is a little bit of a, again, kind of story section where you got to do some fights with your friends. But these are really particular strats as well. Here with Hainer, he's going to knock him over into the corner. You ideally don't want him to retaliate like that, but he can, and it's recoverable. So he's going to push him into the corner, and then he's going to keep doing an air combo, dodge the retaliation, and then repeat that until he's knocked all the orbs out of him, getting a 42-56, not a bad time. The way that you win these struggle fights is by either collecting all 200 orbs, having more orbs when the timer runs, or having more orbs when the timer runs out. Now we got Vivi coming up next.
Yeah, so he's going to want to open up with a lunge starter into an overhead, reset the combo, go into a double finisher, dodge Vivi's retaliation right there, and then go for another 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4. He will intentionally get hit here off the aerial recovery midair, be able to go in, knock him out, get all the orbs punched out of Vivi, and end with almost 42 seconds left on the clock. Great job there by Ninten, but now it doesn't stop. We go immediately into the 3 Dusks fight right here.
Yeah, so these Dusks can float around and move in various ways that are very obnoxious. So Nintendo's gonna be using reversal every now and then because it resets all of them. They're kind of looking around wondering where Roxas just went. In the meantime, he's gonna keep doing 2-hit air combos in order to just try to take them out as fast as possible without sending them flying across the arena. Immediately after that, he has to go straight into the Axel 1 fight. He's going to do a bunch of air combos because if we haven't mentioned it yet, air combos are the fastest way to do things. After the 3rd one though, he knows that Axel 1's gonna retaliate, so he's got to try to dodge or guard it like he just did right there. So now he's going to hopefully kill him in this last combo, and that went pretty much exactly how you want it to go.
Beautifully done. And it might seem like, oh, once again, we're popping off. He did 6 combos in the air. How hard is that? Go and play this game. Try to jump and attack with Roxas on anything that is not a massive target. Being able to land all those combos, like on Hainer that he was performing earlier, or on Axel right there, it's so easy to not be able to get all those combos out fast enough with kind of a minimum jump height. Very, very precise timing right there. And now, really these two. That sets her.
That sets her,
There's
yeah.
my boy. There's my boy. All right.
Ninten intentionally lost all his health there because it's a really fast way to finish that fight, but B, it's actually one of the few fights you can lose, the only struggle fight you can lose, which gives you a medal instead of a champion belt. Like you actually, get a medal from him when you lose due to story reasons. That medal that Ninten's putting on right now gives you +1 strength. And as we mentioned, or as like Spike kind of alluded to, the stats aren't going to matter that much in the long course of the run, but in the early game, every single point of strength that you can get is very helpful.
Absolutely. Now we go here into, I believe this is day 5 of our 6-day Roxas tutorial section. There are these 4 wonders of the world or whatever. I don't remember the plot. I'd like to pretend we haven't watched the cutscenes for this, but Hobbs and I might have watched these in a race we did like 6 months ago. It wasn't great. But now that one, pretty consistent. Just get to the orbs. The 2 important ones are these next couple of fights. First up, you got the VV clones right here. And there's a good like 12 to 15 VV clones you got to take out that will spawn in periodically as you kill more of them. Great job sniping all of the 3 as they come in. He really wants to hit the VVs as they spawn in because they give you that little taunt, or right as they dance into place. That was a very good VV clones.
That's great.
Yeah, that was good for me right there. Like comboing things so low to the ground is deceptively hard, as Spike mentioned, because you can't just jump and then mash X to attack. You have to time it really precisely to get the combo out.
Yeah,
which we're going to be doing here on Shadow Roxas.
Yeah, you're going to be doing more air combos here. Like, Roxas basically stands for Rox has in his pants or shoes. I don't know where I was going with that. He has rocks in his shoes. But no, he's going to be trying to do some air combos here on the Shadow form of Roxas. And again, he's going to try to keep him stun locked the entire time. Thankfully, he didn't drop any of these combos, so that went great.
I'm telling you, Chad. First of all, Rox has. Why did we leave that in the script? That was awful. But I'm telling you, that jump combo on Shadow Roxas, that is so difficult. I can't stress that enough. But here we are. So this is kind of the biggest down section, I would say, of the tutorial. So I'm going to kick it back over to Bobby. Let's read some more donations. Let's get that Sephiroth incentive met. Everybody throw down $20. Who wants a PS5? You want a PS5? I've got one and I want a PS5. That'd be great. Throw down your donations. Let's hear them.
Well, speaking of those $20 donations, $20 from Tanika that says, Orb, PS5, I'm from Germany, Swiffer. I mean, I think if you read more any memes, that improves your chances, right? And then we have a $250 donation from Chris Quit that says, Chris Quit redeemed Do Atlantica. I'm seeing a lot of Do Atlantica in this.
Yeah, that... we unfortunately we will not be doing Atlantica this run.
No.
4 million. If we reach 4 million by the end of this,
Oh no.
we'll go look for some Finny fun.
Yeah.
Go for it, Bobby. You got like 2 more minutes.
Okay, well, we have a $100 donation from Munin that says, hype for dunking Sephiroth. Sephiroth wants to fight us. And so we want to oblige on that. And then we have a $50 donation from Uranium Anchor. Uranium Anchor here again, because I actually meant that previous donation to go through at the start of Kingdom Hearts 2, but I'm tired from the long week and jumped the gun. So consider this my idiot tax to make sure that Spike gets to hear the section that I meant for him. I'm not sure if it was an intentional choice to end SGDQ on Kingdom Hearts 2 again 10 years on, but I, for one, think it's wonderful poetry, especially with Spike on the couch again. Spike, if you had anything to say to yourself 10 years ago, what would it be? Stay comfy and game on.
Oh my God, anything to say? You're making the right choice going to GDQs for the first time. That was one of the first times I'd ever been on a plane by myself. And I've loved being a part of this community. I love gaming. I love charity. I love getting to have fun and get to work my commentary chops. I didn't even know JHobz or Ninten or any of these awesome people 10 years ago. And best decision of my life. Now, that being said, right here, Ninten is just awful at this fight.
Yeah,
that was
terrible. No, he wanted to intentionally lose all his health again. That is another fight you can progress that way. A lot of these are kind of front-loaded in the early portions of the run, but that actually was kind of unlucky even for trying to lose your health.
Yeah, funnily enough.
Yeah, the Dusks just kept dodging around.
Yeah, I was trying to hit them to bait them out to attack me. Yeah. But that guy just kept dancing around me, and the other one wasn't doing anything, so it was just not good.
Yeah.
That dude was just big vibing over there.
Right?
All right,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Ninten's heading over to the mansion now, though. Now there are some options here in Roxas World. Pretty much every chest, not every single chest, but a lot of the chests have potions in them because you can't come back to this world later, so they just have kind of more or less throwaway items. So Ninten has the option here of grabbing a safety potion if he wants, because there are a lot of ways to die in this game, and having more potions is always useful. But if not, he'll just continue on with the story. Got to run to a couple of screens here before we get to our next fight, which is going to be a fight with some Dusks and Assassins. Why are Assassins really scary?
Yeah, first time we're actually getting to see them here in the level 1 run, and they're scary because they can not one-shot you at this point, but they can combo kill you. They can just chain an attack on you. So starting off on this fight right here, he's going to have our first instance of enemies coming in waves. Starting off with 4 Dusks that generally Ninten's going to be trying to use a combination, sometimes use ground hits, mainly using aerial hits. The nice thing about the ground combo is they can kind of start with that large sweep to hit multiple enemies at once. Once he is able to take out 3 of these Dusks, that will spawn in 2 of the assassin enemies who will start above ground. So he's trying to like be in position. Very nice, jumping over, catching one of the 2 assassins before they go underground. Now he's gonna go for a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3 combo. Gonna go for the 1-2-3 there actually, just to stun it and knock it out before it goes back into the ground. Great option play there by Ninten. Beautiful looking fight. Now we go straight into Axel 2.
Yeah, so Axel 2 is really interesting. You get 2 different keyblades, your damage is kind of scaled a little bit, and he's going to dodge that opening attack and then do 2 hits, which it looks like way more than 2 hits, but in terms of this combo, that's what it is. A full combo and then go pop him into the air and do another full combo. That's going to force him to jump into the firewall so he can do this reaction command, which does a ton of damage because of that reaction boost we've got, and it means that he can finish him off in the air with just another combo.
Nicely done. I think the worst part of Simulated Twilight Town, this first split of the run, was actually those Dusks just not hitting Ninten back in that split.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And funnily enough, when you want them to hit you, they don't do it. But then when I'm trying to survive, that's when they get me.
Right. And with that, yeah, Simulated Twilight Town is done. That's about 16 minutes, which is one of the longest worlds in the entire run, actually, believe it or not. So now we're moving on to Twilight Town here, and you get Sora back. So in that menu, Ninten just took all of the potions from his party members. We like to steal from our friends in this video game. The reason is that Ninten's going to be able to make way better use of those potions than the party members themselves will be. He also set them to party attack, which is it's basically the way that you can direct their AI throughout the game. You could tell them to do a bunch of different things. Party attack is going to make it so that they attack targets that Sora is not attacking, which is pretty useful in some early sections where you want to just take damage and die, and you don't want them to prevent that from happening.
Yo, nice. Was able to get the second Dust there to walk on the ceiling and just kind of meat grind up the last of Sora's health right there. So fights like that, we're going to see them a number of times throughout the run, including this fight again right here. These fights will either end after X amount of time goes by, which I think in that fight is 90 seconds. You deal 100 hits, which is a lot, or you just take enough damage to where it will advance the plot. So right here, he's making sure he's getting away from Donald and Goofy, pulling some shadows over. One more hit, should be able to do it right here.
Yeah, Donald can reset the shadows by using Thunder, so he was about to take his last hit, but unfortunately Donald did that. But that's okay, still not too bad, and he picks up an Ether along the way. Ethers, when used while you have any amount of blue MP left on that bar, will instantly refill your MP all the way to full. If he ever gets into a state called MP Recharge, which is when that bar becomes pink because he's used all his MP, then it will refill only a chunk of it. So Ethers can be incredibly useful if you know how to use them right.
Yeah, right here we got him going into the first real fight of Disney Tower. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen, the air combos are still coming in. The reason why we prefer air combos for the most part, even though he's literally trying to fight ants right now that are glued to the ground, is that as soon as Sora lands, that will cancel all animations and he can immediately jump and go into another combo. Now, again, there are times he wants to option into the ground hits if he likes kind of the spacing of the enemies and knows he can catch more of them in a group. And that just is a little nuance that comes with doing the fights a couple thousand times like Ninten has done. Ninten has been grinding Kingdom Hearts 2 speedruns for many years now.
Yeah, it's been about 7 years actually. Like,
I was going to ask,
Wow.
yeah, 2013, 14, somewhere there. Now we've got the soldiers in this fight. They have a great reaction command called Cyclone. You can see by getting in just a couple hits, that will bait them into using that attack. So you see them do a 1-2, reset 1, and then walk to the side. A beautiful triple right there, doing massive damage to all of them. Let's see if we can maybe get one more Cyclone.
They're not wanting to play nice, so he's kind of trying to finish him off. The other thing is that in these early fights, Donald's damage is actually going to help out a lot more. So you ideally want him to be spamming Thunder constantly on vulnerable targets, but he's not always great at doing that. Now, ninten actually unequipped Donald Cure to try to help with that, try to make sure that all he's going to be doing is using Thunder, but it doesn't always work. Here at the top of the tower, though, we're going to get access to the first drive form of the game. So drive forms are this mechanic in the game that allow you to use the strength, rely on the strength of a party member in order to buff yourself up, put yourself into a different form. In this case, Valor form is our first one that we're getting. And when you use Valor form, you run faster, you have more strength because you've got 2 Keyblades, and going into any drive form will refill your MP. There's a whole bunch of benefits, and drive forms are going to get used constantly throughout this run.
Yeah, it's the first of many beautiful tools that we'll be receiving throughout this game. That I think what makes Kingdom Hearts 2 one of the greatest speedruns out there is that you get tons and tons of tools, and we use almost all of them to advance through all the different fights quickly. You can see right there some great movement tech from ninten, using one of the hits from Valor called Over the Horizon to sort of launch you into the air over that gate just to save a little bit of time. Now he's gonna bait the enemies into the corner with some attacks from them. Ooh, nice walking on the air, getting rid of all of Sora's health very quickly and getting through the fight. It's another one of those fights. A lot of these, we would take the experience if we were playing on regular crit, but because of all of you getting us past $2.5 million, ninten doesn't need it. Moving on, utilizing Valor for more of that running. And now right here, some more movement tech.
You're really gonna notice here that we're on level 1. If you've seen any other speedrun of this game that's not level 1, we're gonna be doing a lot less damage on the enemies here in Beatty.
Yeah, at this point, your stats still matter, and so the fact that they're very low means a big deal. Ideally, ninten wants to try to group all of these Dusks up over by the door. Unfortunately, this one just kind of went off to the other end, so he let the others just start walking towards the gates there so he could chase them down. But you can see, like, take a look at that health bar in the top right, thanks to Scan. That is not a lot of damage that's happening, especially when they decide to do that and become a little bit invincible there. But Blizzard is going to help a little bit because it's a magic that he just picked up. He's already using a bunch and can hit multiple targets. He can also use reaction commands like this dual stance, which he does by blocking or deflecting one of the samurai enemies there. He has to time the correct, he has to find the right option in the menu whenever he uses it, but ideally he wants to hit as many enemies with those as possible. This is a pretty good pattern so far. They've been spreading out a little bit. Ooh, that one unfortunately got away from him. And yeah, he's not even going to bother with the dual stance there because it was only going to hit one enemy. He really wants to group them up and hit multiple with this reaction command.
This Bailey fight is actually one of the scariest fights, maybe in the entire run, definitely in the early game right here. Those samurai can get through your health very, very quickly. He was able to take out all the creepers, the smaller enemies, and that's good because that spawns in the final wave of Dusks. Now he's going to try to get on the side, have them all grouped up here at the end, and just shooting them with that shotgun. It's Baby Blizzard, so it's like a little pistol at this point. Nice ninten, fitting on that safety potion right there. Leon doing some good work as well and finishing off the fight. Great job, ninten. That was a terrifying version of the fight,
Yeah.
but he always knew how to react to all the different instances. I would have died 12 times.
Yeah, and at the end there, I didn't even mean the potion. I just did that thing where I hold L1 by accident when I'm trying to attack.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Listen, you don't tell anybody, all right? We make you look good.
Yeah.
We assume everything's intentional. But yeah, that Bailey fight is such an easy place to die. Really glad that we didn't have that. He got fire from beating that fight though, which is going to be incredibly useful. But for now, he's going to Beast Castle. These worlds can be done in different orders. Sometimes you might see speedrunners go to Land of Dragons first, but on level 1, you want to go to Beast Castle and then Olympus Coliseum because you get a lot of good rewards from Olympus Coliseum and they're going to be more useful in Land of Dragons. We can talk more about that in a little bit though, because Bobby, we got a bit of an auto scroller here, so this is a pretty perfect time for some donations.
it's a pretty perfect time for a $10,000 donation from Fangamer. Hey, everybody. Fangamer here. The orders have been flying in, and we're so excited to be able to send in big donations like this one as we race toward the finale of SGDQ 2021. But don't stop just yet. Keep the donations coming, whether you're contributing directly at gamesdonequick.com/donate or placing an order at fangamer.com/GDQ, where 100% of the profit from sales of GDQ merch goes directly to MSF. Let's boost that donation total. And when you donate, I just want to tell you, we got a $100 donation from Sephiroth that says, "Fight me, coward." And I'm going to tell you, we've got 165,000 out of 280,000. I don't know, chat, are we cowarding away? I think we need to donate more for that incentive. You need to make sure you click on that incentive when you make your donation so we can teach Sephiroth who's boss, which is us and not him, by the way.
You got a little bit more time. Feel free to keep giving people some limelight.
Gummy mission. This
oh,
is
yeah.
your
Gummy
time.
missions are, yes. We have a $100 donation from Essentia.
Hey.
Wow. Has it really been 10 years since we were gathered at my house for the first SGDQ? It's so amazing how much this event has grown, and it's all thanks to the wonderful SGDQ staff, the runners, and especially all the viewers and donators. This couldn't have happened without all of you. I miss you all and hope that we'll be able to meet in person again soon.
And we to Essentia.
Yeah. We have a $20 donation from Clark Streams, which, by the way, $20 minimum donation gets you in for that PS5. What's up, Ninten? So proud to see you showing off level 1 for the first time ever at GDQ. The Flan Clan is here cheering you on. And please, for the love of God, do not do Atlantica.
Thank you, Clark.
Somebody with some class and taste, I see.
Yeah.
Well, let's flip that around. We have a $100 donation from Silver Crow that says, "Hey, Ninten, how have you been, my dude? Good luck on the DM skips and bonus boss fights. Everyone from Discord and Twitch chat sends their support, Peepo Pog. P.S. Do Atlantica." Pausers.
My God, it's
I don't want to have any fun.
I don't want to get DMCA'd for GDQ.
Right, yeah, there's the big problem, too.
Yeah.
All right, so heading into Beast Castle here in a moment. Again, you can do these worlds in various orders. Like, you got to do Beast Castle or Land of Dragons to unlock Olympus Coliseum, but you can do either one of those first. And so we go to Beast Castle first. There's a bunch of shadows in this parlor fight. This is one that in a lot of speedruns you would actually use Trinity limit on to end the fight very quickly. But once again, we're at level 1, so we're going to lose all of our health. And we don't have Trinity limit yet. Can't use that. That's something we're going to be picking up in Olympus Coliseum.
Yeah, about to say a little bit of a different order than people might be used to. A lot of times they're going to like Land of Dragons first. Land of Dragons and other categories will be preferred also because you actually get experience from there. Here, there's no mob fights. It's basically all just 3 boss fights, 2.5 kind of boss fights that you're going to do, and that's it. And no experience will come from those. And it's level 1, so like we're not getting them anyway, so whatever. Now we're coming up again, running with Valor form, allowing ourselves to just be able to run the entire time, and a little base mechanic going on right there. So look in the bottom right corner, you got the UI. Sori's got the MP bar, he's got the health bar, he's got his wacky, kooky, crazy hair, but he's also got the drive gauge right there, maxed out at 3. In order to go into Valor form, it uses up 3 of those drive. However, yo, what's up, Donald? However, we entered into this little mini game with the wardrobe that actually took our party members away, and the game gave you a free refill of the drive. We'll be utilizing that mechanic coming up a lot later on, but now we go into the first boss fight of the world, Thresholder.
Yeah, this is a hard fight. Go ahead.
I just want to mention really quick, I don't have any potions, so might be a lot scarier than I first thought it would be.
Yeah, this is a terrifying fight because these gargoyles can really mess up your day. And a lot of times in speedruns, you would have Chicken Little here who can help out a lot, but we don't have him. So instead, he has to deflect these gargoyles until he can use the release reaction command to get rid of them instantly. Then he's going to hit the hook bats here to prompt them to use their bat cry reaction command. Again, reaction commands are very useful because on critical mode, he has a reaction boost ability. So it buffs the the amount of damage that every single one of those does. Now that he's gotten rid of that first wave of hook bats, unfortunately, he actually doesn't want to kill all of them. He he's depleted the Dora's health, so he's going to pop the little soul of it out. Now, this is going to be a 2-cycle fight, so he's going to have to take out about half the health of this soul. Still, again, trying to use Bat Cry because our base damage is just not very good. Then he's going to go into the second phase and do a little bit more of the same here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that did take out both waves of the hook bats right there. So that's actually going to be a little bit scary. He does have one over there that he can maybe use. Gonna pop into Valor form and gonna be doing a bunch of hits. Might unfortunately run out of drive. We'll see what happens. Again, that reaction command on the Bat Cry is doing a ton of damage, and by a ton, it's doing like 4 instead of 1.
This is gonna be close. Yeah, ninten made.
I won't keep it.
You could leave the. No, yeah, you won't. You won't even get it.
Yeah,
because it won't refill it here because it's out. Yeah. The problem that we were talking about there is ninten wanted to use Valor Form in that fight, but he wanted to use it way later. So that way he wouldn't run out like he did just now. He instead wanted to run out at a more opportune time, or not even run out rather, but walk into the next minigame with it so that his drive would get fully refilled like Spike was talking about. Unfortunately, and I'd say this was still a good reaction by ninten, because he had lost some health and there weren't a lot of hook bats around, he decided to use Valor Form to just refill his health and keep himself safe while also using the invulnerability from going into the drive form to dodge one of the boss's attacks. So it's an unfortunate case that he doesn't have drive right away, so it's going to mess up some later fights, but it does mean that he was able to survive and not have to take a death to that boss.
Yeah, and the one thing to mention, about level 1 is that because we do so low damage and the fights take so much longer than other categories, any death, like especially that far in the fight, can lose a ton of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for the most part, especially when you start off running this game, is that your first strategy should just be don't die. If you can avoid that, you're already going to be able to have somewhat of a decent time in the category. But yeah, so much of this run is that drive gauge management throughout, going from section to section, because our summons, our drive forms, all that's going to be pulling from it, and those are a lot of our best tools we can pull from. But now instead, we've just got Beast right here. We're going to be trying to do some reaction commands right here with Cogsworth to sort of knock some sense into Beast, and then go in for a couple of air combos, utilizing that double finisher from the finishing plus. This is probably going to take a number of cycles. If he takes too long here in between attacks before he uses Cogsworth again, then Beast can easily two-shot you.
Yeah,
it does look like he's getting the health bar low, though.
He ideally would have been running to this fight in Valor, maybe even tried to use Valor in the fight as well, but because he couldn't, it had to go a little bit slower. Still not too bad, though. He did a bunch of air combos. He made sure he didn't die. He's going to now do a quick little menu. In this menu, he's going to move Goofy back into the party because Goofy is actually who allows you to use Valor. He's also going to steal all the items from Beast. Once again, that's going to be a pretty recurring theme. And he equips the upper slash ability right before he heads out to the world map. Now, he goes to the world map there because the loads are so fast on PS4 that he can load out to the world map, load back in at a different save point, hopefully the correct one, and then go in. You got to do a lot of fast menuing. You need to go back to the wardrobe, talk to the wardrobe, pop back out, come back in, go to the parlor, and that will get him all the way to the next boss, Shadow Stalker.
Shadow Stalker right here, the first of a two-phase fight. Shadow Stalker that then turns into Darkthorn. Spoilers, but that's what we're doing right here. We don't care about the plot. That's why we're skipping the cutscenes. Does some movement right there at the start of the fight that actually baited Shadow Stalker back into the arena to change the order of his attacks he would go in for. Ninten taking a couple of hits right there, but that's fine. Now going to be able to knock him out of the chandelier, do a couple of air combos, and then he's going to move out of there. Trying to get in just a little bit of chip damage with the Blizzard right there, popping the potion to stay close to topped off at least. And now Shadow Stalker is going to move into these pillars right here. Going to give him that attack and then go for a double air combo right here. Again, we're doing chip damage enough to where we're going to have to land on the ground, guard that to stay safe, and then go for another one. Now, as he pops him out, we're going to be using our first limit of the run.
Once he pops him out there, yeah, he's going to use what are called limit attacks. They use all of your remaining MP bar, no matter how much it is, as long as it's blue, you can use a limit. They also team up with a party member in order to do so most of the time. So that is a big chunk of damage to this boss, but it uses all your MP. So now Ninten's actually intentionally going a little bit slower at the tail end of this fight, just so that his MP in the pink there in the bottom right corner can refill a little bit further. Once it's about past halfway or so, he knows he can finish off this boss with another set of combos. Now, as he goes into the second part of this two-phase boss, there's a little mini cutscene, and during that cutscene, that pink MP bar is actually still recharging. So by the time it starts, it's actually going to be a full MP bar, so Ninten can go straight into Twin Howl, the beast limit here, in order to deal some more damage, and importantly, keep you invulnerable to damage, because all limits make it so that you cannot take damage. That is a very important thing, especially here on level 1.
Now he's going to be utilizing that upper slash he just did. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Darkthorn did not get knocked up in the air from the upper slash combo modifier right
Beast
there.
pushed
so he's
him
going
away.
into Valor form. Yeah, trying to get in as many hits as he can. Going to have to be safe. Wow, some good reactions there from Ninten. Trying to just deflect Darkthorn's attacks away. Now going to pop out of it, utilize the potion. Should be able to guard this right here to knock him off of the chandelier. And this is mainly trying to build towards, nice. I think this is a good option. Go ahead and taking the reaction command, getting a little bit more damage. Again, here on level 1, we're doing such chip damage here, especially in the early game. Pop him into an upper slash, resetting the combo. He's gonna do this down pretty much as far as he can, and then pop into one more instance of Twin Howl. Because at that point, after the third upper slash, he knows Darkthorn is going to retaliate. So we're gonna use that against him and try to take him out during that phase. Great job by Ninten. Had to react to a lot of stuff. Like we said, had some rough stuff go down with the no potions back there in the Thresholder fight. That chained all the way into the final boss of this world. Ninten made it work on the fly. Great job.
Yeah, and what happened there was that Beast, he was trying to attack him with his rush attack, and that just knocked him out of my upper slash, which can happen sometimes. And yeah, I mean, then he breaks out, but we were able to get him right there.
Yeah, and that Beast Castle in general was full of just things not going how they should, and Ninten having to have the mental fortitude to just look past that and go, okay, what is my next option here? What can I do to keep things alive? And to get through that Thresholder fight especially, but then even I'd say the Darkthorn fight as well, without a death, that was incredible. But we're in another gummy mission, and we're heading over to Olympus Coliseum, and I think, Bobby, I'm pretty sure you know what that means at this point.
I do, and this one's kind of interesting. We got a $20 donation from Donald Duck.
Oh.
And what Donald wants us to know, Donald says, if you're not going to bother to gain any levels, why should I bother to heal the party? Here's $20 for every level you gain during this run. I think Donald actually wants a PS5 because with a $20 minimum donation, you get entered to win a PS5. But while you're doing that, we want to beat Sephiroth too, so don't forget to click the Sephiroth incentive. We have 173,000. We need 280,000 and $1 to take on Sephiroth. Sephiroth thinks we're all cowards. Let's not prove him right. Hey, I got another one for you though. How about a $10,000 donation from the Yeti? Hey all, Yeti here.
Nice.
At each GDQ event, when we get to the final run, we look back and see all the amazing things we have accomplished together and smile because we know this isn't over. It's just the end of the current chapter. So let's end this chapter with kicking Sephiroth's butt and hitting that 3 million. We also had...
all I was going to say is we are already really close to $2.7 million raised for Doctors Without Borders. Thank you all so much. That's amazing.
We have a $50 donation from Fork Flinger, who says, shout out to the Sora's heart with the screaming Roxas inside. That's some deep lore.
That's actually like canonically accurate too. Like that's...
We have a $25 donation from Nerdy Excursions. Hey y'all, Nerdy from the GDQ host fam here. Thank you so much to all the runners, commentators, volunteers, and staff that have made this event such a fantastic experience. Thank you to you, the viewers at home, for raising such an incredible amount of money for such a fantastic cause. I would also like to say thank you to my spouse, Laura, for helping make this week possible for me. I love you more than words can describe. You are without a doubt the best thing to ever happen to me. Now let's go kick Sephiroth's butt. We also have a $50 donation from Rob and Alan saying, congratulations to everyone behind the scenes on a job well done. Thanks for another awesome marathon. Thank you so much. We have a $25 donation from Rico. Hey, Ninten. Super excited and happy to see you close out SGDQ with one of my favorite games. Good luck. I know you'll do amazingly.
Yo, thank you, Rico. And shout out to Rico. He's a really awesome Crash Bandicoot runner.
Yeah, Rico's
Appreciate
great.
that.
We have a $20 donation from Squall Whatever. Once again, $20 minimum donation for the PS5. Hi, Ninten. Good luck on the run. Also, when did you turn into a cat?
What are you talking about? I don't see anything.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, nothing weird going on here. All right, we're at the end of the gummy mission there. So we're heading into Olympus Coliseum, and this is a pretty scary world, but at least it's one that is very similar between a few different categories in this game, so Ninten has a lot of practice with it. The one kind of major difference, though, that's going to be potentially a big problem is because he's coming from Beast Castle and not Land of Dragons, he wasn't able to buy a piece of armor, and that piece of armor would make it so that he was able to survive one extra hit in our upcoming fight, which is, a fight, quote unquote, with Hades, the Hades escape that we like to call it.
Yeah, this is another absolutely awful fight that you have to deal with. Even on crit, this is terrifying. But like JHobz was saying, you've got Hades coming up with a bunch of mob enemies. We have to take out 4 different waves of very, very scary Heartless that can do tons of damage to you. And Hades can also deal damage to you. Here's the good thing. We don't have to kill Hades. Here's the problem. We can't kill Hades. Hades can do whatever he wants throughout the entirety of the fight, and we can't do anything about it. The best we can do is generally try to keep him on screen. If he's not on screen, try to have some audio cues, because he can two-shot you whenever he wants. Ninten does have 3 potions ready to go, ready to throw them if he needs to utilize them. But again, we're early on in the game. We don't have a lot of tools. We will have a little bit of usage of potentially fire, some blizzard, and mainly trying to use more of those hook bats, the reaction command, the bat cries to try to take out all these enemies. As a backup to backup of backups, we do have Orin's Limit, the Bushido, which will, like Twin Howl we saw with Beast, give Ninten iframes, but it will drain all of his MP bars. So you would think, oh, do you just want to spam that to kill everything? No, because then you lose access to stuff like fire, blizzard, maybe even a cure at the end if he needs the panic heal.
I was going to say, it's also the same reason you're not going to see cure very much, except for right here, because this is a fight that ends with a number of hits, and using cure on your party members for some reason counts as hits for that fight's purposes.
Yeah, it's very strange right there.
Right? It's super odd. He did the menu there in order to put on the fire, and also he took off some of Orin's healing ability, I believe, for the fight after this one. But right now, it's all about these hook bats, these red enemies that are flying up in the air. He wants them to use that bat cry ability as much as possible, so that way he can just keep using the reaction command. And that one, he was hoping would get taken out by his party members, and they actually did. So now he can move on to the second platform.
Yeah, second tier right here. This in some ways can be the scariest one because there's no hook bats. He's going to bait the Lancers to the side, guard their initial attack, and go into some fires. We're going to see what Hades elects to do right here. He's going to have to, on a dime, as soon as he sees Hades go for any attacks, potentially go for the Bushido, but instead, like an absolute monster, decides to go for the aerial that deflected the fireball away. Amazing play. Now he's going to go to the side to once again bait these Lancers, jump away from Hades' fireballs, hit the hook bat to bait out the reaction command right there and do big damage to these Lancers. Now he's going to catch this other Lancer. Looks like he's got 1 Lancer and 1 hook bat left to work with.
The Lance Soldier here, that one was a little bit scary because it was too far away for him to get to right away and control him, so he had to worry about what moves he was going to use. Fireball there from Hades means a potion's going to be coming in as soon as he dodges the next one, and he was so hoping for a bat cry there so he could dodge and reflect the other fireball, but he just wasn't happening. This hook bat is not playing nice. Finally, there's one, and he wants to lock on to the large body here over on the right because it's a very dangerous enemy. No more potions available, but thankfully he did have Donald cure him there. So, hey, thanks, Donald. And on top of that, he's going to go ahead and use Bushido now. So no more MP available to him, but it kept him pretty safe and it helped him get rid of the large body. And now hopefully we'll take out these last 2 Lance soldiers as well. If it does so, which it did, the gate is open. He's not out of the woods yet, but now he's good.
The first try on the Hades escape. I want everyone to know, if you go back and watch that, that was incredible patience instilled right there in ninten. A lot of people would have just, oh, I got hit, I gotta pop into Bushido. Again, Hades can 2-shot you right there. He's an invincible entity sitting on the side of the arena, but said, I need to get off a couple of bat cries before I pop this Bushido, otherwise the large body would not have died from Orin's limit right there. So was still able to guard a couple of the Lancers attacks, the Lance soldiers, able to get some more bat cry attacks and take them out. But now we're on our way up to our next fight. We got Cerberus.
Yeah, I mean, the dog at the gates of hell is definitely going to be a difficult boss. So rather than take him out by conventional means, you know, conventional being swinging a gigantic key at it, he's going to instead take an intentional death here. This is why he didn't want Orin's healing abilities to necessarily be on. And he uses Mickey here. Mickey shows up in specific fights at a random chance, except for the very first time you die in one of those fights. He'll always show up that first time. So because of that, he can use Mickey here, use this Pearl command by pressing square whenever he has MP to deal a lot of damage. While he's waiting for his MP to recover, he's just trying to stay alive, maybe get some attacks in if he can here and there to help build up the drive gauge that Mickey has and to just deal some more damage. But then he's going to use more pearls so that they can hit the boss really hard to deplete that health all the way down to 0. Now that he's got the full drive, he can also revive Sora, and he's going to take out the boss by using anything that will finish off the boss, count as a finisher. In this case, that was fire, but he had a couple options available to him. Because bosses, they don't just die right away. Sorry, go ahead, ninten.
Just one more thing to mention about Mickey there is that being level 1 actually affects Mickey there. I guess he has his own leveling system. So like on regular crit, we still use Mickey, but we can take a couple hits. We just go ham on Cerberus. But on level 1, you get 3-shot. So I just got to be careful.
Wow. That's incredible. And even at the end there, when you revive with Sora, you got to be careful because we haven't mentioned it much yet, but bosses don't die from any random hit. They actually need to be hit by something that is either a finisher to one of your physical combos or acts similar to a finisher. So magic can do that for you, limits can usually do that for you, and some other abilities like upper slash can do that for you. We have another little mini game here though, Spike. Why is this one at least kind of nicer on critical mode?
Yeah, this one's nice because, once again, you do have all those bonus abilities that the game gives you at the start of critical mode. We have stuff like finishing plus and reaction boost that we've been talking about a lot. This is where something like draw really gets to shine. MP orbs, HP orbs falling on the ground, or MP bubbles, I should say. All of those get drawn to you if you're even kind of in the vicinity. And that's going to be the same case here. We need to get to 100 here on the Maniac version of the mini game. So now he's going to be able to just clear out enough of them to where at this point the large urn will pop in. That's right, chat, this is the urn, and that was a pretty good time there by ninten. As we make our way down to the next section of Olympus Coliseum, you're also noticing that ninten is popping into Valor form basically anytime he can while above ground. We didn't mention it earlier, but even though you can jog in Valor form here, saving quite a bit of time and movement, it gets chained off when you're down in the underworld, as you can see in that bottom right corner. So just having to jog it out here for the rest of it.
Yeah, and it opens that chest there. Power boost. Yeah, there aren't a ton of chests that you open in this run, but that one gives you a power boost, the only one that he'd be able to get from like the normal parts of the game, and that just increases your strength by 1 when you use it from the stock. The stats are soon going to become meaningless, but for now they're still useful, so having that little bit of extra strength can definitely help out. It's also going to pick up an ether here because, as we mentioned earlier, ethers are really useful, especially in the late game, for just allowing you to use more limits, use more magic. They are just great all around, and actually a lot better than I think people realize casually when playing this game.
Yeah. To note, there are a number of other ethers and chests that are a little out of the way that ninten is skipping. That one he just picked up is kind of a noted safety one. Ninten would generally skip that if this were full attempts. But again, here for a little bit of marathon safety because the ether routing can be a little tight in late game. Now you've got the Demix, the water clone fight. 100 water clones, got to take him out. And with Donald having Donald Fire on, he should be able to help out since those one-shot all of the water clones. You can utilize that with some of the fires if you want to go with that option as well. But for the most part, this is a pretty random little almost like mini game fight-ish sort of thing here because of the wild dance reaction command right there. Sora will kind of auto target to whatever, but 5205, very, very solid
really
time,
good.
actually.
They kept staying gripped up.
And Donald also, I think he used Cure like before Demix, so he didn't have MP until the last couple seconds.
I think I built up the duck, and then it's because everybody keeps saying he never cures us, so he said, fine, I'll use it, and we didn't want him to. But now it's time for Pete.
All right, the Pete fight here, this is actually a two-part fight. The first part is a timed battle, so there's nothing ninten could do. Even if he could deplete Pete's health all the way down to, 1 HP, it would just sit there. He could not actually finish this fight any sooner. So he's just gonna try to take out the enemies and stay alive. He's gonna do that by just whacking away at Pete to force him to keep using this pinball move. He still might eventually summon some soldiers though. The ninten has to be a little bit careful of. The other big thing is that if you see in the top left, there is a damage bar there. That's because Megara you have to protect her during this fight. If she gets too much damage, you will also lose it. Thankfully, by just continuing to manipulate the boss like this, you aren't that worried about this first part, but the next part is really scary.
Yeah. Going here into the second part, the frustrating thing about this fight early on in runs is that it's like a minute of having to just do nothing for a potentially 20-second fight that can kill you in 2 seconds, and you have to do that entire first minute over again. Hopefully we get to avoid that. First up, we're going to walk forward here. Hopefully Pete won't become invincible in the pinball stage, and then he'll pop into Valor form. He's now going to take a big lap around Pete to avoid the Ghost's attack right there. Let the hook bat have time to come down, and once again use that patented bat cry reaction command. Now he's going to try to build up as many hits as he can. He's going to take the pinball right there to create some space away from Pete, and then use another bat cry from the hook bat. Looks like about one more combo should be able to get him right there. Oh, it's going to get scary.
The whipped finisher. Oh my god,
that was the fire option play.
Yeah,
oh my god.
That was terrifying. I thought you were going to go for another physical combo for a second. And that boulder was about to fall on his head, everybody, and it would have killed him.
Yeah, we haven't really been talking about it a lot, but yeah, this is critical mode. Basically, everything's going to kill him in 1 to 3 hits, and that boulder would be in the 1-hit category of what we were just talking about. But now we're going right into the boss. We got Hydra.
I know, we can't even rest here because he put on Trinity Limit, the ability he just got, because it's incredibly useful. This is a limit that you can use with Donald and Goofy, who are in your party, most of the time, so it's a pretty good one. Now, all of these hits he's doing with those buttons on the bottom left corner, they're not doing any actual damage to the boss. They're racking up a counter that you can see when he uses the finisher at the end. The higher that number, the more damage that finisher is going to deal. Now, if this weren't level 1, he could potentially skip this little animation here with the reaction command, but it'd be very risky to do so on level 1. So he's instead going to stun all of these heads and just wail away at them with physical combos. He ideally wants Donald and Goofy to be helping him on any of the heads would be great, but at least like the next one. So he tried to target them off to the far right one, because then they can be both focused on a single target. Now when he gets there, you can see that next head already has less than half health.
Yeah, able to take it out. And now in the time he took out those heads, his MP bar was able to fill back up. Time to use the second Trinity. He moves towards the center, gets an auto target on somewhere in the center of them, uses 2 of the 3 possible phases right there in order to rack up hits, deal a bunch of damage. Hopefully this is going to go under a bar of health. Nice to see. Now it looks like he got the middle of the 3 potential different head patterns right here. Got the shortest one, went into Valor form mainly to refill his MP bar, get a little bit of damage in, and now he's gonna probably use all 3 or maybe just 2. Yeah, gonna use all 3 of them with the Mega Overdrive at the end. Hopefully this should deal enough hits to knock it out, give him the full stun, and now time for the flashy finish. Whoop! And that is a dead Hydra right there, picking up his Thunder element.
Great job. All the way through Olympus Coliseum, deathless so far, and that Valor form usage it's doing so much work there. Like Spike said, refills your MP, but also he was about to start getting hit by some of the little dark orbs that spit out from the boss, and it both refills his health after he had taken one hit and protects him during the invulnerability phase of the drive explosion, protects him from some of the other orbs. All of that while refilling the MP, which is the primary usage for it. Now, he's going to slow it back down just a tiny bit. He's going to head over to Hollow Bastion once again. He's got to go check in on our boy Pooh.
Yeah.
Got Winnie the Pooh over
if you are a Cage 2 randomizer player, which our community's popping off, you're poo-pogging right now. This is going to be our one and only visit, unfortunately. They force you into this segment, and now you got this fight, which we're going to defend the book, or we'll just eat it and just be done with it right there. Couple hits, on our way. Go back, talk to Pooh. And that is it for 100 Acre Wood in this run. But hey, at least it was more than Atlantica. I'm telling y'all, $4 million will go there.
I think that staff will be okay with that. I think we can extend the marathon if we somehow get that.
I'm not sure if I'll be okay with that.
Ninten's over here like, I'm gonna need a cut.
That's a good point. Well, he did just get a really useful tool for his toolbox in Chicken Little. That's actually, one of the nicest things you can get in this early game. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later, as well as some of the other great things that he got from Olympus Coliseum. So, Bobby, go ahead and just read donations until you see the flashing lights all go away.
Give me 2.7 million, come on!
Yeah, we're so close. We have like $50 left to 2.7 million. I didn't know if we were going to get there first or not. Like $10 now. I'm watching it go up. But we do have some donations that I can read while we hit that $2.7 million. How about this $1,000 donation from Sock Puppet? It says, love to donate to Doctors Without Borders, love GDQ, and love everything about this finale. The game, the people, Ninten is an absolute treasure to watch, and I always thoroughly enjoy seeing him work his way through the game. Now let's see Sephiroth. We are less than 5 digits at least away from Sephiroth. Ooh. We need about $97,000 to show Sephiroth who's boss.
Oh, come on. We could totally do that. Hey, out of curiosity, Bobby, if I'm a long-time watcher, first-time donator, how can I make sure that my donation goes to that Sephiroth incentive?
So what you're going to do when you're on the donate screen, after you put in the amount you're going to donate, you're going to go down and add incentives. You're going to find the Sephiroth donation, and you are going to click to add that incentive. And that's how we will show Sephiroth who is boss.
All right, you heard him, folks. That's the instructions. All right, hit us up with some more donations.
Well, we have a $250 donation from Dare Turtle that says, this looks like a good spot for some ingredients.
Had to get at least one of those in, yeah.
We have a $25 donation from Thretch that says, roses are red, that gummy mission was slick, so let's see Atlantica at Summer Games Done Quick.
We are hearing that it legitimately in the 1% chance that we do hit 4 million, staff has okayed Ninten to go through all of Atlantica. So Jeff Bezos, what's up? Elon,
what's up?
Come on, man? Let's get somebody on it and drop a mill. All right, we can make it happen.
We just got a $1 million donation from the Jeff Bezos. Big time fan, Ninten, you're great. Let's play Rando together. It'd be great. Yeah, sure.
That'd be amazing. Bobby, we kind of cut you off. Give us one more.
Sure, we have a $25 donation from Declyer192 that says, longtime donator, first time watcher.
Oh, hey, there we go. That doesn't make any sense, but sure.
And just to note, that's $5 more than you need as a minimum donation to get that PS5 $20 minimum donation. That you don't have to click for the Sephiroth incentive, though.
Yes. All right, so we're popping into Land of Dragons here. This is Mulan World. Ninten's going to be introduced to Ping, who's going to be our forced party member for a fair amount of the world here. Now, he did quite a few things in that menu, but an important one that he did was put on the Hero's Crest Keyblade, which is the Keyblade we got from Olympus Coliseum. This, in conjunction with Trinity Limit, are some of the main reasons that we decided to do this world after Olympus Coliseum. Hero's Crest will increase the damage of the finishers of your air combos because it has an ability attached to it called Air Combo Boost. So every now and then when he's fighting some low to the ground targets, you're going to see Ninten be using fire and use ground combos, but a lot of the time you are going to see him just stick to air combos for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, you also saw Aerial Dive, that ridiculous-looking air combo modifier where Sora just kind of flips into the air like a flapjack for 6 combos. That also came from Olympus Coliseum. Also, he put Donald on the thing he does best, relentless attack. Just use as many thunders as he could. And once he got through the shadows phase there of mission 2, popped Donald out of the party, got Goofy back in so he could go into Valor form, so he could take out these Assault Riders, these larger Heartless enemies right here. With Valor's finisher, you can immediately stun them and break them out of their attacks because they very easily can kill you in 1 to 2 hits. So nice to keep safe and speed up those fights.
That was a great mission. Like, that went really well, I feel like.
Yeah, now going to use more Valor form right here. So again, this is a level 1 run. He is going to be level 1 till the end of the game with the power of that power boost he got in Olympus Coliseum, the medal he got at the beginning of the game, getting that better Keyblade in Hero's Crest, and being in Valor form, he's doing just enough damage to not get scaled damage. This game on level 1 makes sure that, okay, not even just level 1, but just in general, if you are too far below a certain stat, kind of a minimum stat, it will make sure that your damage does scaled damage, so you're not literally doing chip damage. That's why you might sit here and say, oh, level 1 in this game isn't as long of a run as I thought it would be, and that's because of it. But we are getting just above that scaled damage here at the beginning of Land of Dragons. After here, it's going to be level 1 stats to the end, straight up.
All right, here into mission 3, this is your search and destroy mission. He knows exactly where each of these enemies is going to spawn because it is actually a consistent spawn location, although they do move randomly once they have spawned. So every time he has one of these shadows that's sitting there underground where it's all flat and invulnerable, he's trying to use thunder a lot of the time, or sorry, fire a lot of the time to make sure that he's dealing damage over time in a circle around him, so he could try to catch them the instant they pop up out of the ground. Now, he is also trying to get his drive gauge all the way back up to 3 there, so he could use Valor form just like this. That's really important because Valor form is going to help speed up the movement in this next section a lot, and you don't really have enemies in that first room to get it back, even if you hadn't gotten your drive all the way to 3. So now he's able to run a lot with Valor form, and it's also useful for these couple of little forced fights here.
Yeah, right here he's got to break through 3 walls right here to utilizing these little reaction commands at the front of each wall. He's going to clear out the enemies, and now he's going to put on this beautiful little delay right here, wait just a half second, then go for it, because then on the backswing of the reaction command, that will knock the enemies up, keeping them from canceling your reaction command. Now he's going to drop down, the Assault Rider is going to pop in, but you're also going to pop him up in the air while Sora's taking out the trash, make his way through very quick mountain climb right there.
Yeah, that was excellent. And it's so easy to, be afraid of the Nightwalkers that are chasing behind you in that section, so you have to make sure you're moving quickly. And on top of all that, you want to make sure you still get to this next cave fight while in Valor form, like Ninten just did, because your party members, or everybody but Ping, are removed from your party in this fight, which means that you get that drive refill. You can see there's a big old 3 and the word max in the bottom right corner there. But here in the cave fight, we've got a couple of waves of enemies to deal with. First, it's an Assault Rider with a bunch of shadows. The Assault Rider is way more dangerous, so he wants to take that one out first. Then he's going to use a lot of fire and some physical finishers on the ground to deal with these shadows, because as you can see, fire can hit a wide area just right around you and just deal with a lot of these shadows all at the same time. And then that physical finisher is going to help him not use too much MP while also getting a good wide swing on all the shadows.
Now we got these 2 Assault Riders here at the end. He's first going to walk between them, bait out their attacks, see which one to option to. Going to take out one of them, just kind of pushing them to the side. Did get a retaliation from it. Backed off smartly to use a potion because any of these attacks would have one-shot him at that point. Now he's isolated to the last one. Should be able to, is able to get out those finishers quickly, able to reapply the stun and pick up Slide Dash right there, the bonus from that fight. An amazing combo modifier to make your ground combos a little more viable in this game.
Those shadows were being a little bit rude to you there in that fight, but otherwise I feel like that was like textbook. You did that great.
Yeah, the thing about those shadows is that there's so many of them, so they can just all so happen to attack at the right time and just kind of frame trap you. You can't even like potion. So you can get really unlucky there, but that was okay.
Yeah, thankfully they do drop health orbs, so that can help out when his maximum health is so low like it is right now. But now we're going into the summit fight here. This is actually another timed battle. It's 60 seconds to see how many Heartless you can kill. And ninten, could just try to camp out in a corner and avoid all the enemies. But he does want to try to take them out because the bolt towers will actually drop money, and that money can be useful for buying ethers later on in the game. Ethers are very expensive. They're 120 a piece, which in a run where you basically get no money is very expensive. But if you can get even a few extra by spending some time that would otherwise be wasted here to grind out money on these bolt towers, then it's absolutely worth his time.
Yeah. But like JHobz is saying, very easy to die here, just like the theme of the rest of the run. So he does have to have a lot of good spatial awareness. It's good to use the reaction command off of the rapid thrusters right there, so that a lot of times can catch a lot of them. Can actually use Trinity Limit as well. So killed off a decent little group of them there, 68.
Weirdly, good. Trinity Limit is like the only limit you can use with your party members or without, and it affects how the limit actually works. You're going to see him use it a lot, even without his party members. Instead of racking up hits and then dealing it all of it as damage right at the end, it will just have Sora warp to the target he's selected on and deal a lot of hits in kind of a 2 or 3 part based attack. Get another little save warp here though, back to the Bamboo Grove before heading on to our next boss fight.
Yeah, picking up another ether right there. A lot of these save warps are specifically faster on the newer versions of the game, PS4. Beautiful movement right there to slide dash using that combo modifier I talked about. It's amazing because it makes ground combos a lot more viable, that big gap closer. And we can use it for super cool instances of movement tech right there, where you lock onto something a distance away. You're not even trying to kill it, you're just trying to close that gap and move a little bit faster. Now we're gonna use that group Trinity Limit again. Immediately pop in and use the ultimate phase of it, and that should deal enough hits to take out all of these enemies right here. Otherwise, very annoying group.
Ultima and really all of the various parts of Trinity deal so much more damage if there are more enemies around, because then every little chunk of it can push all the enemies to hit each other and bounce around and really get a lot more hits. So even though he only used one aspect of it there, it still did more hits than when he was using it in the Hydra fight. But we can't be dwelling on that because we're heading into the Shan Yu fight. And this boss fight is going to start off with Valor Form, as you saw for some of the movement. He wants to ideally actually keep these Nightwalkers that are hitting the gates alive, because once he decides to get out of Valor Form here, which is helpful, of course, on this boss because it's giving us some higher strength and whatnot, he's actually going to be using Trinity again. Here we see, there it goes, the Ultima used once again. It's to try to group the enemies up and deal enough hits that he can kill not only the Nightwalkers and a bunch of damage to Shan Yu, but also kill the bird. That is a really rude bird.
Yeah, that bird's like, you can see him just go ahead and fully kill him right there. And now it's a one-on-one battle with Shan Yu. He's not so tough without his big bird around.
Yeah, that bird just loves to interrupt your combos and make it a very unfortunate time. And unfortunately, Shan Yu called the bird back in. So this is now a little bit scary. Ninten's sitting there without a lot of his tools. His drive gauge is down to 0. His MP bar is pink. It's into MP recharge. So he's just got his slide dash and his aerial combos pretty much. Tried to use upper slash there in order to knock the boss up, but unfortunately, the boss decided to retaliate. Thankfully, he does still have a few potions, so he was able to use that after getting hit by the bird. And now, one more reaction command into a couple more combos should finish him off. In fact, the Thunder's gonna do it. Great job.
And good option play right there, going to the Thunder for the finisher, because again, if he had gone in for like a combo starter right there, he would have had to get all the way to the finisher. Saw he was within one magic usage, either a Blizzard or a Thunder there, able to finish off. So little weird there that Shan Yu, I had actually never seen the animation where he calls Hayabusa the bird.
Yeah, that's weird.
I was like, what is he doing? So that was a little bizarre. But with that, Ninten is able to finish off the entire first string of Disney Worlds. Super cool movement tech there on the world map where you lock onto worlds and then you sort of warp to in front of each of them. So it has a lot of targeting and retargeting going on. But now we're kind of going on to what I consider now the mid portion part of the run as we go into Disney Castle, make our way over to Mini for one of the hypest strats in the run.
Yeah, this is a really cool one. The other thing too is that now that he's done with Land of Dragons, his stats are basically irrelevant. He will be getting scaled for every other fight in this game pretty much. So you might wonder, why doesn't he get some better equipment or equip a Keyblade with higher stats? It won't affect things. But the hypest strat that you've all been waiting for, it's time to push that mouse. That's right. Ninten's gonna try to wiggle Mini over to the wall here and then continue to push her. Now this is really difficult to do. Is he gonna go the distance? He's at the 10. The 5. He's made it. Touchdown. The finish command. That is probably the thing that has gone the most right in this entire run so far. I feel like that was amazing.
God, that's gonna be on Sports Center later. Chris Berman's gonna do a highlight of it. Cue the NFL music. God, that was hype. But yeah, that is extremely difficult. I just want everyone to know that right there. That is to get her specifically up against the wall to be able to interact with her hitbox. Great stuff. But with that, we're going through here. We're going to be utilizing her reaction command. She'll only run for a set distance and then she'll stop anyways. So you kind of let her go that set distance, then use her reaction command to kind of reset herself and then keep going. While we do that, let's get in 2 quick donations. What do you got, Bobby?
I got a $50 donation from Skybills that says, "Hi, y'all. Skybills here, the host fam. Big shout outs to those on volunteer and staff that have made the behind the scenes family so special. Remember that GDQ is some lovely programming between GDQs called GDQ Hotfix. Much love from myself and the beloved Mercy Kill Skythe Run Ender. Watch those estimates, runners. I hear you've been on those shows, Spike."
I have, yeah. I've been mercy killed a few times. I think both Hobbs and I have been mercy killed a couple times between us.
Very fun.
And we also have a $100 donation from J. Kyle Pittman that says, "Hi, Blackwolf." Oh, that's to me. "Hope you have fun hosting the final hours of SGDQ 2021. Let's get that Sephiroth fight." Of course I'm having fun. I'm here with Spike, Hobbs, and Ninten. And that Sephiroth fight, I'm doing some quick math. It's like 85,000 left to show Sephiroth who's boss. So don't forget to click that incentive when you donate. Remember, $20 minimum donation gets you the PS5. Don't want you to forget that.
We're moving, we're grooving. Thank you all so much. Keep donating to that Sephiroth incentive because this run is going to be over before you know it. It just keeps happening. Now, Ninten popped into Valor form for some movement and again to attack this boss. Now, it's more of a mini boss here. Doesn't have any good way to retaliate if you just keep stun locking him with combos. And there's actually a base mechanic in the game called revenge value that causes most bosses to actually prevent you from stun locking them like that. We'll get into that a little bit later, but why don't you start thinking about that now as we get to our first instance of Chicken Little here.
Yeah, Chicken Little, an amazing first summon of the game. A lot of people didn't use summons, didn't know how to use them. Nintendo's going to show you how to use them. Chicken Little has a whistle mechanic where if you are standing next to Chicken Little and you are a good distance away from other enemies, he will draw them in, stunning them at the same time. So he's hitting a bunch of them with this reaction command right here, moving away from them, going fire, fire, thunder. The thunder knocks them up into the air. Chicken Little says, "Whoa, you're too far away," and pulls them back in. We'll get more of an example of that here in the next Windows fight. Here in Timeless River, we have to take out these 4 different sets of windows, these 4 different fights right here, these mob fights. So he's going to summon Chicken Little right away and create some distance from him and these plane enemies right here. Chicken Little comes in, says all the enemies are too far away, brings them in. You can go for fire, fire that keeps them locked in, and then a nice sweeping ground finisher to push them all away. Chicken Little once again says, "I don't like that." Bring them in, start dealing the damage once again. Same with the other enemies as they spawn in. So again, this might seem like, oh, Chicken Little just kind of seems cheap, seems like hit the win button. There's so many specifics as far as actually getting Chicken Little to work. If you just summon him, he'll do other stuff. He'll do like his firecracker attack and whatnot. No.
Yeah, like,
you need to make sure you create the spacing.
Even at the end there, because there was only one enemy alive instead of multiple, Chicken Little wasn't going to use the whistle to pull that enemy towards Sora. He actually would just keep throwing baseballs or using his firecrackers. So he has to, like, Ninten has to keep all of that in mind and be paying attention to not only the enemies and where they are so they don't hit him, but where they are in relation to Sora, where Sora is in relation to Chicken Little, and, you know, how many enemies are on screen. So because of keeping track of all those things, he can use that Chicken Little once again in that window in order to end it very quickly instead of using Trinity Limit and strat we would use in maybe some other categories and whatnot. And then he can head into the final window here, where he's going to start off with Chicken Little, but that's not how he's going to do the entire thing here.
Yeah, we got 3 waves. We got a bunch of shadows, then a bunch of shadows, and these annoying hot rod enemies. Anybody who played this game casually, this was a nightmare for you. But right here, get to utilize more of an upper slash to extend that combo from a ground into a aerial finisher. Now he's going to dismiss Chicken Little, bring the group back, and use Group Trinity. Because there are the 2 hot rods and all of the fires that are kind of stage hazards here, all of your Trinity hits are actually hitting those as well, upping the amount of hits that you then do in the finisher. You'll see that applied again here coming up in the upcoming Pete boss fight. But before that, we got Boat Pete we got to take out. And this is a very, very slow fight, but because of some setup, can potentially one cycle it. Let's see if Ninten can do it.
Yeah, this is really cool. So first, he's got to, you know, use these reaction commands to reflect all of these objects that Pete is tossing at him. And while he's doing that, he's mixing in thunders in between to just keep dealing a little bit of extra damage to the you know, Pete, the boss here. And while he's doing that, it means that he can do it in just 2 rounds of the, you know, garbage that he's tossing. Then he uses a thunder and immediately grabs the hook right after, because this little, you know, box, this jail for the cornerstone here, it actually is invulnerable from damage until you grab that hook. But if you start the thunder and then grab the hook, it means you can start doing it. You're also seeing Ninten pause every now and then, and that's to try to prevent what unfortunately just happened, which is getting knocked off of the hook. You see your finisher while you're on the hook, it does a lot of damage, but it also has a long recovery to it. And because of that, he has to try to make sure that he is not in the middle of a finisher when the boat wants to throw him off. So he's going to keep pausing every time he's about to use a finisher to see if that hook starts moving. If all goes well, he can try to one cycle this boat. It's going to be a little close on this one because of getting thrown off. We'll see how this goes. Just going to be a few more combos, but as you look at the top left corner, that boat, it's trying to escape.
This won't one cycle, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you got very unlucky there with when it was telling you to get knocked off.
Yeah, it really just wanted to prevent those finishers. So this is what we were trying to avoid. And also Ninten doesn't want to use up any ethers because he doesn't have very many of them. As you've seen, he's really just picked up like 2 or 3. So he's going to unfortunately have to wait on a little bit more garbage to be thrown his way too, instead of using those thunders.
Yeah,
Wants to try to use that last bit.
One more piece of trash right there. Should be here in about 2 combos, so he'll be able to finish out the fight. So a little bit of a time loss right there, but it's been an amazingly paced run so far. So we'll deal with it. One more combo should be able to knock it out. And Donald learning Fantasia right there. One of many tools that we'll be talking about later on. But now we're going to be going into the final P5 right here.
Yeah, this is a pretty good example of that revenge value mechanic I was talking about earlier. So the way that they prevent bosses from just getting completely stun locked by you wailing on them with physical attacks is by having a hidden counter for every single boss. So the way this works is every type of attack Ninten does, an air combo finisher, a ground combo, fire, thunder, every single type of attack has a coded value to it that just adds to a number in the background. If that number gets above what we call the boss's revenge value, then the boss is going to take its revenge and it's going to retaliate on you. Ninten can use that to his advantage because we have figured out what the revenge value is of all of these moves and all of these bosses. So Ninten can know, all right, I can do this number of combos before the boss is going to try to attack back at me. Or maybe this time I should go for a Trinity limit because it's going to deal so much more damage so quickly. But now he's got to wait on that MP to recover. So back to worrying about revenge value. Now he knew that the boss was about to retaliate there. So he's like, I'm going to pop into Valor form, dodge that hit, and still get to deal some extra damage.
Yeah, he's here on the 4th of the 5 phases right here. Every phase that Pete goes into, his revenge value, effectively tolerance, actually lowers a little bit. So he can only wail on him less and less as he goes through. He's trying to look for that last HP gate, trying to bait it out with a little bit of Blizzard. It's nice when he does the little bowling ball right there, because with Slide Dash, you can actually knock the bowling ball into him, doing pretty big damage.
Unfortunately, Donald's dead right here. He's going to try to revive him because he wants to actually use Donald to help him out. But he got popped up into the air, so he's going to just use some air/reaction commands to try to deal a bunch of damage to the boss. And he's going to have to come back down to the ground now, and he's going to pinball, waste a little bit of time here, unfortunately.
What happened was that I rezzed Donald, but then Goofy died straight after.
Yeah.
Donald's like, now you know how it feels.
Yeah, he needed both of them alive in order to use Trinity Limit, which is what he would have liked to do there. But we finished off Timeless River, and the rewards that you get from this world are actually amazing. You get Reflect, which is one of the strongest tools in Sora's toolbox for the entire game. Lets you block enemy damage while also dealing damage back at the enemy. He also got Monochrome, a pretty useful Keyblade, but we won't worry about that one until right near the end of the game. And he got Wisdom Form, which is the next Drive form. This time, Donald is your team-up partner for that one. Wisdom Form is useful on its own, but also getting that resets what we call anti-points, which are this mechanic in the game that, similar to Revenge Value, it tries to prevent you from abusing Drive forms by just constantly spamming them. You don't have to worry too much about it. Just know that it's perfectly routed in the speedrun to know exactly how often you can use Drive forms, and every time we get a new one, it means that we can start using them again as much as we want, because it will reduce that anti-point value back down to 0.
Yeah, sort of something built into the game to say, we want that to punish you for whatever reason. The devs wanted that in the game, but if you get a new form, they want you to feel safe to get to use them. So it makes sense that they just, in the background, reduce that to 0. But again, we have it all routed out. We're hopefully never going to see anti-form in this run. It should be good. Bobby, I want to hear a good 7-8 different donations. Hit me up.
Well, we actually have some people asking for help from us. We have a $20 donation from Aerith Gainsborough that says, please get some revenge on Sephiroth for me, okay? And we have a $250 donation from Cloud that says, can you fight Sephiroth for me? He won't leave me alone. We have passed the $200,000 mark on that, by the way. We're at 201,000 out of the 280,000. Let's keep that coming. So we do have a $200 donation from Stop and Fritz saying, hi, Ninten. 4 years ago, I took up your tutorial for crit any percent. Had I known the adventure I end up embarking on, and better yet, the community I have become a part of, 4 years later, I don't go a day without the Kingdom Hearts community. I have you to thank for that. It gives all of us such a huge sense of pride that someone as wholesome and amazing as you is bringing GDQ home. All the best.
Oh, thank you so much, Fritz. That really means a lot.
We have a $100 donation from Kubaru saying, so happy to see Ninten running Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix to close out the marathon and having Spike and JHobz commentating. One of my favorite games ran by one of my favorite Kingdom Hearts streamers. Love the Kingdom Hearts community, love the marathon, and love donating to this awesome cause. GDQ rules, and much love to everyone who makes it as great as it is. Best of luck on the run, Ninten. Let's see some Sephiroth.
Oh, thank you all for the kind words. And you might be thinking like that Sephiroth incentive is still $80,000 away, like that's really far or something. Here's the trick: if everybody in chat who is watching right now donated $5, like just $5, you just skip an expensive coffee from Starbucks, or you skip your McDonald's meal the next day. Yeah, there you go. You put $5 towards an amazing cause, and make sure you put it towards that Sephiroth incentive. We would be there instantly. That's how great the power of numbers is.
Power of math.
The power of quick math right there. And now, if you need to crunch some numbers, we have the biggest menu of the entire run coming up right now. Because just like JHobz was talking about, we got tons of amazing tools, and we need to put a lot of those suckers on right now. I'll try to go play by play as he throws them on. I'll try to see, roughly, he's going to move pretty fast through the menu. Menus feel really, really good in this game. But before we get there, we are going to utilize more Chicken Little for these pirate fights right here. Now, the pirates actually take increased damage from magic. The game actually kind of tells you in the cutscene right there. So don't blink or you'll miss this fight right here. They don't like blizzards. They don't like thunder. So what we're going to do, blizzard, blizzard, into the thunder, thunder. And just like that, even here at level 1, all those enemies are dead with a combination of Chicken Little and those enemies. JHobz, I got to take that first one. You tell me what's going on in the second fight.
Yeah, the next fight, we're actually going to get to keep Chicken Little out. You can see a little Zach Braff there just running alongside you. He's going to ideally grab all the enemies in immediately because they spawn kind of far away from you. Then you see the fire into fire. It's just to get rid of all of them with the help of the firecracker there as well. Pull in the second wave. You're not going to be able to quite take out all the cannons with just 2 fires, but there's going to be enough to spawn in the soldiers there. Wow, I couldn't remember their name for a second. Yeah. and a couple thunders finish them off as well.
Literally the second enemy of the series.
I know, right? I'm like, what happened?
Another beautiful slide dash right there. And then going into Chicken Little's limit, we weren't using it for any combat right there. It was actually to build up the summon level in the background going on right there. Again, lots of stuff going on here in this menu. Wants to try to apply 3 ethers right there. Going to put on Donald's first limit of the game, Fantasia, so you can use the Comet limit. Also giving Goofy Tornado, just his best little attack move he can utilize throughout the run. Hopefully just have him do something in the corner right there. And now you got that ambush fight. Once again, Chicken Little, push yourself in the corner. Chicken Little doesn't like that the enemies are too far away. He draws them in. You hit him with a bunch of blizzards. You give him a cold and you send him home.
Yeah, and it's great, the pacing of this game, how they pretty much give you these great tools for certain fights and then give you a lot of reason to want to use them immediately. We're into another timed fight here. There's not too many of these in the game, but we kind of had a few a little bit in a row here. And this one, you just got to survive for a minute. That's all you got to do. But you have all of these pirates trying to attack you with their, their axes or whatever up in your face, and then they also are trying to shoot you from afar. So he's going to use Chicken Little to try to bring the enemies in, because if he leaves them out there in the shadows, he wants to make sure that they come out into the moonlight. They're actually invulnerable in the shadows here in Port Royal. It's, if you've watched Pirates of the Caribbean, you understand it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, in the moonlight, they're actually vulnerable. So that's where you can hit them with a lot of magic, run around, collect the money and the MP orbs that they drop so he can just keep spamming more blizzards and thunder and whatnot. And also, if he ever does get hit, as long as he doesn't die, Chicken Little will make it so that he refills his health every time he's attacking enemies. So he'll do some like air combos and whatnot if he needs to for that purpose. Gonna use one more Chicken Little limit there at the end just to try to deplete that summon gauge and keep trying to level up those summons.
Yeah, every time the summon drive gauge loses a point, that gives an experience point to summons. Effectively, you're using those Chicken Little limits to deplete all of that so that Genie will have better usage, our other summon in this run later on. But now we have got the infamous boat fight. Tons of waves of pirates are coming in. We're gonna run to the corner, get with Chicken Little, and then he is going to whistle them all in, hit them with more blizzards. This is how how intense this fight is. He equipped 3 ethers. He's going to use all 3 of them in this fight to constantly reapply MP, and he wants to make sure he uses them before he actually runs out of MP.
That positioning by ninten there, because one of the pirates had gotten hit by the bomb, so he needed to run all the way behind it so that way his blizzard would still hit both of the enemies despite them not being grouped up anymore. Great job, but then he moves on to some of the last couple waves here up over near the stairs. This is a kind of awkward spot to be in, and he's in an MP recharge right now, so he's having to just deal physical hits. You can see how much less damage that's doing than these blizzards. As soon as he switches to magic, they're dead. Got your last 2 enemies here. They get sucked up, gonna get frozen by the blizzard. Last one of that MP bar is gonna be the one that takes them out.
Nice, beautiful grouping of all the enemies right there. And you can see right there, he's got one. This is how well it's routed. He got the 1 safety ether earlier. He has 1 ether left. Next world coming up, he's going to be able to buy all of them. Now, I do want to explain just a couple of those tools that ninten's got in his toolbox from the last couple of worlds, because in this next boss fight with Barbossa, he's going to use like all of them, so it's going to come at you really, really fast. Again, JHobz brought up the reflect magic ability. Ooh, unfortunate knockup right there in the air, but was able to maneuver around it and to avoid the enemies. Great job. Now we're going to be running our way over, utilizing Valor Form for that movement. You got stuff like Wisdom Form. That is going to be another dry form that he can pop into. Unlike Valor Form, he'll be in blue, and he can actually utilize his magic while in that form. He's also got Reflect. Again, something where abusing that revenge value we know every boss in the game has. We know exactly when they're going to retaliate, and then we can use the Reflect in a lot of instances to both defend ourselves and use their attack as a weapon against them. Opening up the fight here, we got to look for some RNG.
Yeah, so this enemy can spawn in a few different spots, and it will not lift the darkness until you've taken him out. Now he's going to start off with some Valor Form here on Barbossa. Try to get some extra hits in before he runs out. If Jack or Sora loses their health in this fight, it's over.
Now, once again, like we're seeing, we're going to go in for a double air combo finisher right there. That'll cause Barbossa to retaliate. We reflect for big damage each time there. Now he's going to come in. At some point, he's going to want to pop Goofy out of the party for Donald instead.
Yeah, it's going to happen right now, and that's so that he can use the Comet limit here. It's going to deal a lot of extra damage, and he can keep wailing with physical attacks while he's doing that. If all goes right, he's going to go into Wisdom Form here and finish off this boss with Reflects and maybe some Thunders. Didn't even need it. The Reflect is all that he needed, and that fight is so difficult, so easy to die on. It went beautifully. Great job.
Yeah. The reason why he wanted to use the Donald flare or the Comet right there, that limit of his, is because a lot of bosses will hit a point where they're in what we call a brick wall state, where once they hit a certain revenge value, they're just going to do their attacks. And a Comet likes to kind of knock the enemies around quite a bit, but instead, when they're in that brick wall state, they're not going to get knocked around, and they're just going to sit inside that limit and eat tons of damage. It's not invulnerable, they're just not getting stunned. So again, beautiful fight back there by ninten. Basically executed exactly how he wanted it, and we had a quick kill there on Barbossa. Very, very cool stuff here on level 1. But we're in another gummy mission. We're cat jamming out to this track that is way too good to be in a freaking gummy mission. While we're going, Bobby, tell me even more donations. I see that number getting higher and higher and closer to 280,000.
We've already almost caught another 10K on the incentive, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
And we got $10,000 from Fangamer. Hey, everybody. Fangamer here. Here's another big donation made possible by the folks shopping the official Fangamer SGDQ 2021 collection, where 100% of the profit from sales of GDQ merch goes directly to MSF. Y'all are awesome. There's still time to pick something up before the run ends. Just head on over to fangamer.com/GDQ. Let's get to $3 million.
They got some good stuff
real quick,
over there. Oh, go ahead, Ninten.
Yeah, I want to shout out the finale pin and the finale patch that Fangamer has, because they're both Kingdom Hearts themed and they came out really good.
Yes.
Awesome.
And speaking of your call to action earlier, JHobz, $5 donated by Keurig saying, here's the money I would have used for an expensive Starbucks drink. we have a $500 donation from Zananel that says level 1 critical Sephiroth. I say yes. Yeah, we are about 70,000 away from showing Sephiroth who's boss. Let's make that happen. We have a $75 donation from Zenadir. Host fam friends, look how far we've come this week. You're all amazing for being here and helping this event have so much meaning. It's been unforgettable for me, and I hope you all feel the same way. Let's keep pushing on towards that Sephiroth fight, and don't forget about all the amazing prizes you're eligible to win when you donate for that super boss like the PS5. Thanks again for being your amazing selves, chat, staff, and volunteers. Let's finish this marathon right. Never lose heart. Thank you for doing part of my job for me. $20 minimum donation gets you entered in to win a PS5. You know you want that. You know who else wants that?
Sora literally lost his heart, and it like messed up everything in the world. Yep. So I mean, like, don't lose heart. Let's keep those donations coming.
Now we here are 5th out of 7 total gummy missions down. It's nice because once we get into the second half of the run, it's nice from a viewing standpoint because we just go. It's tough for JHobz, ninten, and I because we keep going. But for now, we're going into Agrabah 1, where we got this opening fight where, you could finish it or you could just take enough damage. We like that. That's fast. We're here on level 1, and there's all your health.
Yeah. Just get a quick combo.
It's really nice when we have fights like that in the run because Ninten's, a god gamer over here, and he's like first trying all these fights and showing, oh, I could die. Let me show you how easily it could happen. So he does it for speed reasons right there. Buying a bunch of ethers from the shop because, as we said, basically used up every single one of them in the worlds building up to this, getting a nice stack of 10 ethers. And the fact that he isn't buying armor throughout the entirety of this run is allowing the money routing to get him more ethers and play a more aggressive route in all these different fights. Because again, MP is good. MP allows us to use a lot of our tools.
Well,
using Wisdom Form.
I was gonna say another one of our tools here, Wisdom Form. It's the first time we've actually seen it be used for movement, and it's actually way better than Valor Form for movement. It has the ability Quick Run, and you can use Fire to go in a straight line like this and just kind of plow through a bunch of the town marketplace. But Wisdom Form has the ability Quick Run, and the way that Drive Forms level up, because they actually level up in this game, is different based on every single form. And once they hit level 3, they actually start giving you their movement-based ability. For Valor Form, it would be High Jump. For Wisdom Form here, it's Quick Run. We want that Quick Run because Quick Run is going to be a lot faster than just jogging as normal Sora all over the place. So we're actually going to spend some time to level up the Wisdom Form in this world, but we're going to do it while still moving on. First, though, we got this little Abu minigame. It's going to kind of try to keep nudging Abu forward, similar to what he was doing with Minnie in Disney Castle. And because of that, he's able to finish the minigame just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, which is very awkward to do in Wisdom Form because you're obviously kind of like swaying side to side, so that's pretty difficult. But now, going into this fight, we're going to have more usage of that overpowered Reflect magic spell right there. He's going to try to bait out an attack from one of these little ice cube enemies and then reflect it, having the splash damage come out, which you can see another great property of Reflect, that splash damage. So he's going to bait out another attack from one of the enemies, splash damage, killing all the enemies right here. For our third tier, we got this Fat Bandit. He chose the name, not me. And now he's going to try to reflect this fireball back at him, go into another air combo double finisher with the reaction command. We got air combo boost on. We got reaction boost on. Show me the boost. Use the boost to get through the fight.
This is great.
Using Blizzard.
And even like this, Ninten's doing even very minor things in between all these platforms where he's jumping just before the platform disappears, so that way he hits his max terminal velocity right as he's about to land on it. So you can see he's actually lower down than Aladdin and Donald. Now, this last platform, he's going to try to attack the enemy as it spawns out of the air before he even hits the ground. Reflect into a Trinity, but because Goofy's not in the party, it's that solo variety, so it warps Sora directly to the enemy, carrying all of that Reflect damage, and then allowing him to continue using the Trinity to kill the other enemy and just do a little bit of air walking at the end of that fight, which I think is really, really great as well.
So now you see Ninten popping back into Wisdom form because, again, every time you kill a Heartless specifically in Wisdom form, it will give Wisdom form an experience point. And we want to see on the left side of the screen, not just level 2, but level 3 in Wisdom form. This can be pretty tight routing. There's level 2 right there. He needs to kill another 34 or so. He drops out of it, gets some drive back by utilizing fire, by utilizing reflect, building it back up very quickly, popping back into Wisdom form, which is now at level 2, and now he can hopefully kill the rest of these Heartless and get to level 3 so we can get that Wisdom form. There it is. Quick run, level 1 in our toolbox. Now he's gonna quickly pop out Aladdin, bring in Goofy so he can use Group Trinity, reflect one of the fire attacks, the fire breathing attacks from the 3 Fat Bandits, that allowing a ton of splash damage to go off, and now he's gonna use all 3 phases of Group Trinity there to rack up a lot of hits and take out all 3 of them in one go. That is an extremely scary end of the fight. If he times that reflect a little too early, the splash damage won't go off. If he times it a little bit too late, Donald might die and then he won't get to use Group Trinity, and trying to run around and heal Donald and trying to get back going, that is not a good time. But here we are going into the Blizzard and Volcano Lords. We got our boss fight of Agrabah 1.
Yeah, you move on from one fight to the next, back to back, that is. He's going to start off with the Reflect into the Comet limit from Donald. This is going to keep him invulnerable, but also it's going to do a lot of little hits all over where he decides to actually use that finisher, which helps get rid of the small enemies that the Blizzard and Volcano Lords turn into in between each of their phases. While they are in these larger forms, he's mostly sticking to air combos. He still has that Hero's Crest Keyblade equipped so that it can do extra damage on those air combos. Then he pops into Valor form. Had to make sure Goofy was alive and not frozen so that way he could use this for some extra damage. Now, he unfortunately has had to deal with some of the smaller enemies there, and he's about to run out of Valor form. He wants to use Donald one more time, so he's going to potentially potion him. There it is. Revive him so that way he can get back into this Comet. It's going to deal a lot of extra damage and hits to these bosses. It's popped up into the air, which really sucks because he's having a hard time getting over to it, and he has no MP to hit him out of the air with Thunder. But thankfully, he did finish off the Volcano Lord without having to use Comet Rain, so he can use all of that juicy damage here on the Blizzard Lord, and just another double finisher will take him out.
That was great. Once again, patience on Ninten's side to know that he could hold out on using Comet just a little bit. If you look in the top right corner, anytime we're using a limit, there is a limit gauge. You can't just keep it up for forever. And every time you're using one of the small charges of it, it will kind of pause that timer from going down. He held it until about the last possible second for the Blizzard Lord to come down, get in its brick wall state, and have it eat all of that Fantasia, that Comet, finisher damage right there, dealing tons of damage, allowing Ninten to go for the 1-2, the do-si-do, and take him out. Great job there on Agrabah 1. We're into our 6th of our 7 gummy missions, the last one for a while. So, Bobby, this is your last big chance for a long time to get in a ton of donations. Let's hear them.
Well, I like this $10 donation from Wow Thanks. I like this one that says, Ninten does what Sephiroth don't. Womp womp.
That one takes you a second, but it's great. Oh,
yeah,
man.
that took me a minute.
So this one's interesting. This is interesting, this next set here. We have a $100 donation from Dougal that says, let's get a $100 donation train to get the Atlantica incentive. Come on, everyone.
What?
Hello? Anyone? Hello? But Dougal, you were heard. We have a $25 donation from Anonymous that's saying, doing my part to get us to Atlantica. Luna Meyer donates $1,000, saying, let's see a donation chain to get to that $4 million incentive. We have another $1,000 donation from Anonymous saying, I just want to see a fish in the sea. Some people here really want to see Atlantica, and all of them also are now eligible to win a PS5. It's a $20 minimum donation. They went well above and beyond on that one. But we've got that, and the Sephiroth incentive, you need to make sure that you select that. We are at 215,000 out of 280,000 for that. We have a $250 donation from Reginald Yacht that says this event has been truly astonishing, and as the finale is a throwback, a decade in the making makes it all the more poignant. $1 for every Xehanort, although I think I might have lost count since there's a lot of them.
That's very accurate. And just to give everybody an idea of how much longer you got before that Sephiroth incentive, we're a little bit past halfway through the run now, I would say. Does that sound about right to you too, ninten?
Yeah, we're actually, like a bit, maybe 60% done.
Yeah, so you don't have a ton of time left, but there's definitely still time to make sure the Sephiroth fight happens. You can see that bar at the bottom. It's so close to getting finished. Come on, let's just close it out.
Just keep pushing it, chat. And I will say, if I were the writer of Finny Fun, I've probably gotten a lot of crap over the years for writing that song, but if I heard one day that my song raised $1 million for Doctors Without Borders, I think I would take the crap I got from my friends. So make it happen, chat. Give the writer of that song a lift up. I believe in y'all. Let's get it in there. 3 million and well beyond. Come on.
Bobby, you can sneak in about 2 more, I think.
We have a $20 donation from Blazing Glaceon that says, I finished this entire series to date, and I still don't know what's happening in it. Also, shout out to Terra's Armor in the screaming, lingering will inside. Bit of a stretch? Oh, well. Oh. And we have a $50 donation from Raisin that says, longtime donator, first-time viewer. Wait, is that right? Looking forward to the showcase of skill and game knowledge Ninten always provides on these level 1 runs. Let's get the incentive met, guys.
Thank you, Raisin.
Yeah, I do want to real quick, as we're going here into Halloween Town, the last of our first string of Disney Worlds right here, that Ninten is awesome, and everyone should give him a follow. The only reason why JHobz and I know half the amount of stuff we know about this game doing commentary is because Ninten did all the exact same commentary for a video he provided to us. This is allowing him to get to focus and pull off this extremely difficult high-level speedrun that can kill you at any instant. Ninten is awesome. He streams like every day. Give him a follow. He's wholesome. Great
absolutely.
content.
And also, you know, he should give a follow Genie because he's helpful sometimes. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. Segues are hard.
Right.
But so he popped into our first usage of the Genie summon here. This is the second and actually I think the only other summon that we're going to be getting in this run. Now, Genie you get from beating Agrabah 1, and he, in that case back there, was really just useful to get rid of your party members. They can prevent you from losing your health there, and you don't want that to happen. You just want to force that fight to end very quickly. But we will use them for damage a lot later. First off, though, we got the town square fight here. Ninten had to put a small delay on and then slide dash into a double reflect into a third reflect in order to get a lot of damage and finish off that first wave instantly. Then he goes into Dance Call, the limit that you can use with Jack Skellington. It is a very powerful limit. It pulls enemies in and finishes them off. Wow.
Chat, I just
Yeah,
want
so
you
what
to
I
know
did right there-
That was a beautiful fight. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, what I did right there was I ended the limit pretty much like frame perfect. I've never like timed it, but I think it's frame perfect. And skipped the entire ending animation where like it zooms in on Sora. Saves a couple seconds there.
I just caught the replay of it too. It went by so quickly. I looked at the live stream to catch it, and wow, that was that was incredible. It's just very small details that add up over the course of a 3-hour speed run. But you know, the hits keep coming. We just got to move on to the next boss here, Spike.
Yeah, and this one is going to be the Dance Call Show. Definitely one of the top 3 limits in the game. And yeah, they gave it to just one of the regular Disney characters right here in Halloween Town. Dance Call has this great ability to kind of draw the enemy in and then deal a lot of damage very quickly. It's great. So you see him up there. He's trying to get in a decent amount of damage for this first phase, and then he's going to utilize Dance Call to magnetize him into you and then deal a ton of damage with these small charges. He tries to get to 4.5 bars of health. That is the end, kind of the first of his HP gates that he is hitting right there. Next one's going to pop in here at about 3.5 bars. Ninten is going to try to perform a phase skip right here. Prison Keeper will try to obtain one of the 3 kids, Lock, Shock, and Barrel. That'll send you to the different phases. But Ninten right there actually skipping over it, saving just a little bit of animation time. Now he's going to be going into a second instance of Dance Call, popped into Valor form right there, did a little bit of damage, and then dropped out of it just so he could get that MP back, because every time you pop into a dry form, it refills your MP. Going for that second Dance Call. Now drop out of it, pop 2 more ethers, start building back up drive while waiting to actually get back to the damaging phase of Prison Keeper right here, because he does want to try to get back 3 drive. Beautiful, reflecting that swing attack right there, dealing a ton of damage, building back up a ton of drive, and then popping into another dance call to make sure he gets magnetized in and eats all of that splash damage. Now going for the finisher of dance call right here. See ya, Prison Keeper, and we're at 2.3, yeah, I would say drive gauge right now, which is important.
Yeah, that was a great fight. It even actually opened with some unlucky randomness as well, because which kid the Prison Keeper swallows at the beginning will determine which types of attacks it'll open up with. And it went for shock, which is unfortunately like the worst one, but ninten handled it very well. Now you can see we're able to actually quick run all over the place now. This is what going into Wisdom form so many times in Agrabah was all about, giving Sora the ability to just move across the ground very quickly. It also works as a good dodging utility as well. But we're going into Oogie Boogie now, and this fight's not so fun for most runners. It's long, you can easily die at any point, and you can't really do too much to speed up a lot of it, because you're just sitting on these tracks and having to, hit all of these presents back. You actually gotta, or not presents really, but boxes. You gotta hit 12 of them back before Oogie will drop down in each phase.
He's got to listen for some audio cues right here, because like that fist that slams down on the ground, that will one-shot Sora. So if you unfortunately get underneath that, you don't hear his little attack. I'll squash you flat. Yeah, that'll take you out real quick. This is a long fight. It's boring, but there's also a lot going on in it because you easily can die. Pulling out Chicken Little right here, because we're going to try to perform a little bit of a skip with some of the Heartless coming up in a second, and just generally keeping you pretty safe. So that's why he was performing all those thunders in between all of those box knockups that he was doing in the first part. So Chicken Little, he's first going to pull him back, try to avoid Chicken Little and the Heartless right there getting hit by the fist, because by keeping it alive, we can avoid Oogie Boogie from spawning more Heartless later on. So now that White Knight's going to be sitting over there on that middle conveyor belt. Chicken Little's over with us. That's 11 boxes knocked up on him. And now normally he would spawn more Heartless right here, but because that White Knight is active over there, it allowed him to just have the boxes come out even faster. And now into Dance Call we go. Big chunk damage, taking him out with this overpowered limit right here. Just keeping him in a stun loop, working him into his last HP gate, 1 left to go. And now the White Knight, ooh, actually not dying right there either.
Yeah, still alive, so Oogie's still not going to summon any new Heartless yet, any new little gifts for you. And now that we're into the 3rd phase, he still has to, knock 12 boxes up at Oogie, but he's going to move, Oogie that is going to move every time that 4 boxes have been knocked up onto his platform. So that's why you're seeing ninten just immediately dodge forward after he's knocked in 4. Which side he moves to is actually random, so he has to kind of keep an eye on Oogie there so that he knows which side to try to move to with the reaction command. It's got to go for another 4 of the dice here, actually using the iframes from the reaction command that time to dodge the dice bomb that Oogie will drop on him. Now Oogie can move twice here, or he can stay in the center. He moved twice, little unlucky, but not that big of a deal, just a minor time loss. And when it comes to a game that is full of randomness, I think you'll take just the smaller versions of it over the longer versions.
Something else to mention is that
Go ahead.
I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, but the fist and the thunder will basically one-shot me if I get caught by it. Yeah, so this fight is actually really scary, even though I haven't taken a hit yet.
That's kind of how a lot of the fights go too. Nice finish there with Dance Call, but there's a bunch where, because you get like one shot by every move the boss has, it better go damageless. It better be a damageless fight, because otherwise you're gonna die.
Now here, again, we are done with gummy missions until the end of the run before the final world. So now it just starts going, love this movement tech, locking onto worlds and then warping to in front of them to get back to Twilight Town. Now in this fight, we are introduced to another bane of a lot of casual playthroughs of this, the Berserkers, or as my man Puexel likes to call them, the Berjerkers. Big enemies with these claymores that like to never be able to get hit, and they deal massive damage to you. We're gonna be utilizing Genie this time to actually deal some damage using some Wisdom Genie right there, and then Reflect, get some good splash damage on all of the different Dusks right there, and then using another instance of Wisdom Genie coming up here after we Reflect, the Claymore being knocked out. There's the Berserkers. I hate them just looking at them. So Wisdom Genie gonna perform our first wish of the run and start taking them out. He does want to make sure he holds on to a little bit of MP, has to take out the last of these 2 Dusks, and then he's actually going to dismiss Genie, and this is going to be positively cathartic coming out here. After he dismisses him, a little bit of MP left, gonna bait all these Berserkers into the corner with this jump, magnet them, and then go into a group trinity, trying to make sure he's a specific distance away, because all of a sudden they're dead.
Yes, that was incredible. We just got access to the magnet magic, or the magnet spell, and it's already being useful. So we talked earlier about how Trinity has multiple parts to it that all don't do damage, but then eventually add up to a number that increases the damage at the end. However, Magnet does damage whenever it pulls enemies in. It's just a small amount of damage, but it does some damage. So whenever you use a Magnet and Trinity, that every single one of those moves, every one of those pieces of Trinity is moving the enemies around all over the place. And as they get moved out of the magnet. So the magnet's like, well, hey, hold on, come back here. That's my job. Get over here. And when it does that, it deals more damage. And it does that like 90 times in a second. I mean, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it's really fast. So yeah, that's how Magnet and Trinity can do a lot of damage very quickly. By the way, just love that swag little movement there. Some fires in Wisdom form to just keep your height and not have to deal with any kind of ledge grabs. It's so fun, all the little bits of movement techniques in this run.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably one of the less movement intensive of this series speedruns, but little fire like right there, Wisdom form using thunder that just kind of clips you up on top of the ledge right there, and then a fire to extend you, cutting out that landing lag. Just a little bit of Ratchet and Clank energy. We're trying to work up to Ratchet and Clank movement tech. But here we are, we got another skateboard right here. Skateboards are always gonna be good anytime we get to see them.
Yeah, and
Wisdom, again, while we do have base quick run, yeah, go ahead, Hobbs.
Yeah, we were about to say the same thing. While we've got quick run on Sora, why are we bothering with Wisdom form? It's not just for all this great magic movement. It actually now has a level 2 quick run, which goes a little bit further and a little bit faster. So it is better overall for these longer sections compared to just a base level quick run. So that's one of the other big reasons he popped into Wisdom form here.
Yeah, it's going to keep Wisdom form much more relevant even later in the game. By the way, we had just picked up another dry form earlier after we defeated that Berserker Sandlot fight. Limit form, I'm just bringing it up because when it pops up later on in the run, it kind of gets popped up with a bunch of other little things, but it'll allow us to use Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora's limits that he had in that game, stuff like Ars Arcanum and Ragnarok. That'll be cool when you get to see it. Just stick around for the run. It's gonna be cool. You'll like it. And that, once again, just like when we got Wisdom form, resetting those anti-points going on, those anti-form points in the background, reset it to 0. So he knows, once again, in the routing, he's now safe to utilize a bunch of dry forms without the fear of going into anti-form. Now we're here in Space Paranoids. It's Tron World.
Yeah, so Space Paranoid starts off with a bit of a mini game. You gotta find the right box and you just kind of turn the camera to it. But he also knows roughly the amount of distance the box is gonna travel, so he can kind of meet it at the end of its movement path. During the rest of this, there's normally like an upcoming section where you would grind for experience and levels at this Windows fight, but hey, it's level 1, so we get to actually save a good chunk of time there over a lot of the other routes. Right after acquiring Master Form, another really useful drive form that we're gonna see later on. But don't forget, folks, we do want to see at the end of this run the Sephiroth Super Boss fight, but there's an incentive going for that one. And in order to see that fight happen, you have to donate at gamesdonequick.com/donate, and you got to donate specifically to that Sephiroth incentive. So you got to put it to that when you get there. We got Light Cycle going on now. Thankfully, that first part that I was talking through that could be pretty scary went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, didn't take any damage because the scary thing here is everything two-shots you in this mini game right here. If he takes damage in that first part, that health would carry over here into this auto-scroller section. Now, ninten, it's very consistent. He knows what's going to happen here, but if he made any mistakes, in addition to the randomness of the first phase, this is a multi-minute time loss. Somehow this game does a really good job of knowing when you can lose multiple minutes. Beautiful movement tech right there by actually throwing the Keyblade into the shield enemies, which is meant to punish you by knocking you into the wall. But by doing it and then immediately turning down the corner, you go whoop and you just shoot down the corner. You'll see ninten go for another instance of that coming up here down the corner. All right, take out the blue enemy. He's gonna line up, check out the green enemy, whoop, and then bounce right through the corridors right there. Awesome stuff. Bobby, I wanna hear 2 donations real quick while ninten finishes this section up.
Well, how about this $50 donation from Kung Fu Fruit Cup?
Hey.
Saying, loving the finale so far. You're doing great, ninten. Also love you, Spike and JHobz. Please don't fire me. 3 million hype?
We'll see about that. I don't know.
I heard that. I heard that in an interview earlier.
And
I
we
just
do
want to
have,
say it had nothing to do with that.
and we do have a $5 donation from Annie Jess 3 saying, did JHobz just summon a $5 train? I love Kingdom Hearts, and I never get tired of commentary that includes Mickey and Sephiroth in the same sentence. Come on, folks, let's Nort a boy.
You know, I'm really curious too. What is everybody's favorite Disney movie? Why don't you donate and let us know? Because there's a bunch of them that are in Kingdom Hearts worlds, but there's a bunch that aren't too. And, you know, Disney's got a pretty big library. What's everybody's favorite Disney movie? Tell us in your donation comments.
Yeah,
Mine is,
let us know. Bobby will let us know if you let us know with your money.
I will.
Do it.
Ninten,
I will.
What about you?
Mine's Shrek.
Yes. The best.
Shrek is definitely my favorite Disney.
I'm sitting here like,
he's
I
my
know
favorite Disney
Ninten.
princess.
Ninten's favorite is Moana. Like, I know that, right? Like, it's gotta be, I'm guessing. But we're into the screens fight here, and this is where we're finally getting to see Genie. I mean, again, we did see him in the Berserker fight, but we're getting to see Master Form Genie here. So you can use Magnet and Master Form Genie's Limit, Arcana, to really deal a lot of quick damage to the enemies. And once again, every time he's hitting them, it's knocking them in and out of the magnet. That little magnet shuffle, as I'm going to start to call it, is dealing extra damage every single time. And that's going to be used so often in this run on these mob fights.
Dude, please, can we just make that the name of the tech from now on?
The
We're
magnet
coming up here
shuffle.
for a magnet shuffle. All right, looking good. That's what it is. You're knocking them constantly in and out of the magnet. Same instance we saw right there from ninten, doing the magnet into the solo trinity right there. And that allowed him to build that drive gauge back up. Because if you go back and look at this VOD later, and I'm expecting there's going to be a test on this, chat, you'll see he only had 1 drive left after dismissing Genie. But then by going magnet into trinity, you build that drive up very, very quickly. Now we got the hostile program boss fight. Very intense boss fight right here, where we have to utilize almost every tool in the toolbox.
I know.
Take him down.
It's amazing. You start off with Donald in the party here because you're going to go into Comet and then immediately go into 2 full combos, ideally with some double finishers here because of that finishing plus ability. Comet's going to deal a lot of hits and also pop a lot of these little clusters out, which he can use to freeze the boss. Then he goes into Wisdom Form to hit him with a bunch of attacks, dropping yet more clusters, so that way as soon as he freezes the boss like this, he can find some more and try to get up as well, and just deals a lot of good damage. Then he goes over to the back to Comet on the boss here, several combos, and then hopefully, if all goes well, he's going to be able to freeze the boss again because the Comet Rain's going to spit out so many clusters. Look, his bar in the top left already full again. So he's going to freeze so that the boss is directly next to him while he's frozen. He's going to go into another full combo with double finisher and then summon Genie. He's going to move Genie over to the Master Form version of Genie and use that Arcana limit once again. It's going to do yet again a big chunk of cluster dropping from the boss. He's going to pick them all up here, just, you know, running around using that draw ability, freeze the boss, and then hopefully that should be the last freeze of the fight. Goes into a full combo again into that Arcana limit. Let's see how this goes. Perfect.
Beautiful.
Amazing
and just
job.
watch this freeze frame right here. Look, Sora is standing in Genie's mouth, blasting away. This is the greatest video game of all time. I'm just telling you. And we're utilizing every ridiculous tool in the toolbox to take him down. But now that's great. We just beat Tron World. Here's the thing. We're going directly into Hollow Bastion 2. We got this entire defense segment. We got Heartless coming from the left. We got Nobodies coming from the right. And we got two great guns in Chicken Little and Genie ready to blast off. Let's bring out Genie again, because again, we want more Master Form Genie with the Magnet Shuffle. We're calling it just that. We're locking onto the Dancer Nobody into this fight. That is the most annoying enemy you can deal with. It's a good thing it's already dead. I didn't even get to point it out too much. And now utilizing more of the Magnet Shuffle to deal a ton of damage there. He does want to make sure he has his drive back by the end of this fight. Ooh, a little bit scary there with the Crimson Jazz. Does want to make sure, effectively enemies have like different weight classifications in this game. So he wanted to make sure that he sort of gets a distance away and then throws up the magnet with Genie's Arcana, drawing them back in.
Ninten's
Now,
having to call an audible
Go
here,
for
man.
it.
This is some improv work. And unfortunately, lost the drive there that he was trying to work with Genie. Thought about maybe switching the form up, or it's just sticking with the Master
that was
Form Genie. It was.
That was a mistake right there, because I thought I was on Master, but I switched it at some point. I just didn't even realize.
Accidentally over to Valor. If it had been Wisdom, it would have maybe been okay. So thankfully, he got enough to be able to get up to 3 drive here. So he is going to be able to still summon Genie again. And now this fight needs to go right, so that way he can get all his drive back for the next one as well. He's going to do more of the Magnet Shuffle there with Master Genie's Arcana, and that's just going to deal a bunch of damage. But also, if he does things right, it helps keep his summon gauge healthy, so that way he can use more Genie.
Oh, gosh.
He started to run out of MP there, though, so he had to toss an Ether so he could use more magnets. Now he's trying to desperately get to the 3rd wave of enemies, but these dancers are incredibly scary, and he still has to dodge those creepers, because he might as well be at 1 health right now. He'll get one shot by pretty much any one of these attacks at his current health. Now he's hopefully going to use 2 magnets here to group all the enemies up. Might have to use 1. No, he can't use another one. This is a little risky
Donald
now.
is dead.
Yeah.
That's going to be the first death of the run. Those dancers, even if he had full health, that would have been a 1-shot.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Again, down on his drive gauge right there. Ideally, would have got just a little bit more back in that corridors fight. Trying to pull off a magnet into Group Trinity to get all of his drive back, but unfortunately, Donald was dead. We could not do it. So gonna try to build it back up to 3, get into Wisdom Genie right here, over to Master Genie, Arcana to try to take out the first wave of the dancers right here, into phase 2, drop down Magnet Shuffle again, try to take out more of them. Again, desperately trying. Now it's good. We're into the 3rd phase. He should be able to throw up a magnet, dismiss Genie, refill the MP, magnet into another Trinity. Watch that drive gauge fly up to nearly full, all the way up to 5 all of a sudden. Take him out. Great second try at that fight.
Yeah. And then that's like how it goes in Kingdom Hearts speedruns, right? And if it goes horribly wrong the first try, after the death, it's going to go perfect.
It goes perfect the second time, yeah. That was a good fight the second time.
Yes, it was. But now we don't need just good fights. We need perfect fights for the next big chunk, because Demyx here, this fight is going to be followed by 4 different fights, and if any of them goes wrong, if Ninten dies in any of them, he has to come all the way back to this fight and do it all over again. It's going to start off with a Trinity limit here to get rid of a lot of the water clones, really all the rest of them, and look at the massive amount of damage he's doing to that health bar on Demyx. Then he's going to pop into limit form after stunning the boss, and he's going to use Ragnarok, or some may call it Infinity, to deal a lot of hits very quickly. Also, he got all his MP back when he went into limit form, so now he can use a Trinity limit again. The boss is going to use some more water clones, and then that should rack up enough damage to hopefully kill the boss. Not quite.
1 combo left, maybe 2 combos. This will do it. Bam!
Yes.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Get a little buff to our Blizzard there as well. And now Ninten is going into, again, this is like the scariest section of the entire run. We have 4 fights called the Final Fantasy fights here. Goofy has died. He is gone forever. Don't worry about it. Now he's got to take out these 4 different waves of Heartless while teaming up with various Final Fantasy characters. This first one, not too scary normally, but we're still on level 1, so anything can kill you. He's going to use more Magnets and Trinities, as well as the reaction commands. Was actually looking for a Rising Sun, but he'll take the Cyclone as well, and thankfully the Rising Sun does finish off the last Heartless for him.
This does build him up to 4 drive gauge, meaning we can go into limit form. That does require 4 drive gauge. This will get him into limit, allowing him to refill his MP, and now he's going to go through, utilize the Sonic Rave instead for the limit of having all that MP back. Now he's got to do more management of that drive gauge, building it up. You see those big enemies there, the Morning Stars. They are the scariest enemies that you will have to deal with in these Final Fantasy fights right here. Good thing it's already dead. Now it's still just a bunch of shadows and soldiers, but they can still very easily kill you if you let them get away from you. Didn't let them get away from him. 2 down, but now it's into the scariest fight, the Tifa fight.
Yeah, so Tifa's fight is full of those big blue Morning Stars that Spike was talking about. They are incredibly scary. He was ideally hoping for a Rising Sun. There it is. So he can start off by using that reaction boost ability to deal a lot of extra damage to these Morning Stars. Next, he's got to determine what the enemies are doing. He's going to go for a Reflect into another set of Rising Suns here. A couple Morning Stars are still alive, and then they're spinning around, so he's not liking it. Does reflect the spin, goes into a Magnet, into a Trinity as well. That Morning Star thankfully just got finished off, and Tifa is safe for another day.
Tifa, an amazing combo right there to finish them off. Great job. Now we're going to be popping into limit form. The explosion from popping into limit form is actually all we really wanted right there, and the MP from it. And now he's going to thunder these little robot Heartless right here, which will actually automatically cause them to cause you to have access to their reaction command right there, which can keep you safe and do a ton of damage to all the other Heartless. Hopefully you're just trying to last long enough to where Cloud goes into Berserk mode like he is right here and start taking them out. Meanwhile, you're utilizing Magnet to keep the enemies grouped up and ready to eat a ton of damage. That is a first try on the Final Fantasy fights. Great job, Ninten. But now we've got the most random fight in the game. We have the 1,000 Heartless fight.
I know, that's the thing, is it's not over. Thankfully now, if he were to take a death, he doesn't have to go back to Demix. But this is maybe the single scariest fight in the entire game. There are 1,000 Heartless that need to be defeated, and Ninten does not have any party members to help him with it. He can't use his summons. He is low on tools. What he is going to use are the Sparkle Ray reaction commands from all of these Sentry bots here. And the thing is, sometimes they don't like to give you the option to use it right away. He can use Thunder on them to force them to use it sooner, but then he's draining his MP, which is often used for those safety reflects. So a lot of the time, he's actually just going to have to react to what the enemies are doing. Ooh, anytime those lasers are all queued up and he's in the middle of an animation, that's a scary moment. Ninten's also doing a lot of fancy footwork here, though, isn't he, Spike?
Yeah, I was about to say, try and just constantly see where the other enemies are coming from. Popping a Reflect many times before grabbing hold of these robots so that he can actually take out some enemies with the splash damage, but also just keep himself protected the whole way. Now popping into limit form, great reaction right there from Ninten. Recognized that he was about to get combo killed and was able to drop into a safety limit form. The good thing about that is that actually does refill his MP bar right there, so he can use more Reflect. Sitting here at 869, but not so nice yet. Over 900 dead at this point. He needs to sometimes realize when they're going to do that long wind-up attack, and when he needs to put on even more reflects. Gonna get hit by you. Yeah, great reaction using the Trinity limit right there.
Anytime he sees those lasers, those pink lasers all queued up while he's in the middle of a Sparkle Ray, it is where he needs to be quick with those reactions, and so far he's had to do it twice in this fight. Now he wants to keep this last one alive to take out the rest of the enemies and then finish them off, and that is a first try 1,000 Heartless. Amazing, Ninten, great job.
I'm picking up.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
Yeah. But I don't care if you've done this. I don't care if you're the world record holder. You've done this a million times. 1,000 Heartless, especially on level 1, where you don't have any of the classic abilities that people are used to in these games. Second chance once more that prevents you from getting one shot or combo killed. None of those are there at any point. Any of that randomness could take you out. But with that, now, again, the run just keeps going. Now we need to, in order to access the end game portion of the run, we have to go back and complete second visits of Port Royal, Halloween Town, Agrabah, Beast Castle, and Land of Dragons, all back to back to back to back, starting off in Port Royal, because it's got some very, very good stuff here that we want to pick up.
We're about 2/3 of the way through the run now, folks. Be sure to keep donating to that Sephiroth Super Boss fight. I believe we can make it happen. I believe in all of you out there who are watching and sitting there just going, I know I can contribute to a good cause. Now, you might have noticed the pirates there were not dying in 1 or 2 blizzards like they were before, kind of. They take a lot longer now because we are into those second Ring of Worlds, those second visits, and things take a lot longer. Every time ninten decides to go to a new place in one of the ships here, in this case the Black Pearl, he's going to get ambushed by a bunch of enemies, but he can escape that ambush by going into the interior of the ship instead of trying to fight them out. We got Grim Reaper here. This is actually a really cool strat, Spike.
Yeah, coming up here, he's going to be trying to utilize a lot of reflex and whatnot to deal a lot of damage back. The biggest thing he wants to do is actually utilize Comet, and then he's going to, in between small shots of Comet with Donald, he's going to try to keep him stun locked, run Comet all the way down to its finisher, and then try to get him basically in the middle of Comet. So he's basically just getting bounced back and forth like a pinball and taking tons of damage. Now into Master Form we go. Regular hit Blizzard, regular hit Blizzard, regular hit Blizzard, all the way down until he utilizes both of the finishers from the finishing plus we have. Master Form is swag, it's cool, we'll use it more later. And now into another Comet where he's going to try to, in between all of the singular shots with Comet, do a bunch of other hits to constantly keep him stun locked. And then we're going to be going for the finisher here pretty soon, right after the teleport. Oh no, actually not going to be utilizing it right there. I mixed it up in the notes. I'm sorry.
All good. He did have to wait on the teleport. There was a little scary. Thankfully did get that guard off. Now a few more combos should do it, but he has to still be worried about taking a swipe and death, and there's gonna be one more teleport associated with this one. If he had unlimited ethers, he could have tossed one to get some MP back, use the thunder, but we are very limited on those consumable resources in this run, so has to be careful, play it safe, wait out that teleport.
Chad,
yeah, that's one of those fights that it's one of those fights that you can't really tell maybe when you're watching, but Grim Reaper has like a really weird hitbox. So sometimes you can just get knocked really far away, or like he'll push you out of the way with his scythe, and that's really important to avoid when you're doing comment.
Can I jump in here?
Yes,
absolutely.
I need to jump in here because we just passed 2.8 million.
What?
Which
Oh my
I want to
God.
say before I say this, I want to say that this is higher than AGDQ 2021. So this is the highest online marathon and the 3rd highest marathon to date. And you want to know how we did it? You ready for this?
Okay.
We got a $40,000 donation from Twitch.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
So y'all, Twitch has been a wonderful partner for our events for years. GDQ is super grateful. Thank you so much for supporting both the speedrun community and a great cause. Thank you so much, Twitch.
That's incredible, and
That's
we are
amazing.
so close to $3 million now at this point. Oh my God, can you imagine?
Let's just do it.
Yeah, can you imagine if we raised $3 million in an online event for Doctors Without Borders? Like, that would be incredible. Well, right, we got a speedrun we got to talk about here. So ninten is here fighting some gamblers now, has to find all of these medallions, and he's doing a really cool piece of tech here called genie canceling, where basically he's doing horizontal slashes, this great ability that lets him do slash, side to side up in the air. He just got that from Grim Reaper, and he's using it and then switching what form Genie is in so that it resets his combo counter so he can just keep doing those horizontal slashes over and over. That was great. He's now going to get all his drive back because Genie is going to be taken away from him by the game, and he has full MP, which is exactly where he wants to be going into Grim Reaper 2, the refight.
Yeah, Grim Reaper 2 has kind of two main phases to him. You have this phase where you have to collect all of the medallions back from him. You need to get all 882 coins back into the chest, and then you can actually go to the phase where you're dealing damage to him. So he's going to utilize a couple of thunders. Every thunder pops out 50 coins, and then using Blizzard to keep him stunned. Now we can get into some damage. Genie canceling, let's go. Horizontal slash. Keep in mind, chat, he has to manually do all of this menuing while also doing the horizontal slashes in the air. This is not an easy technique to do that he's doing, and looks like he was able to get effectively the one cycle right there on phase one. Now get up, reflect a little bit back, get some drive gauge built back up, and then while it's up in the air after this reaction command, he's gonna lock on. He's got 77 coins. Well, now he's got 0. 2 thunder pops right there, popping out up to 100 coins. Now he can drop all the rest of the back end already into the second phase, and now it's time to do something similar, honestly, to that Genie combo right there, but instead mix horizontal slash with the Donald Comet right there to bounce back and forth and not let him get to move. Beautifully done on one cycle on the second phase as well.
Yeah.
And now he needs to get to safety up to the box.
The fact that he's in that corner too, so he can just take all the hits from the Comet. But now he needs to make sure his party members are alive here. So he revives Donald, uses Master Form because he needs both his party members for this drive. And now he's going to use Thunder. Every use of Thunder in Master Form uses it like 3 or 4 times. He doesn't want to just mash Thunder though. He needs to slowly pace these out so that way he can get MP orbs from the boss and maximize the amount of hits the boss is taking. That got all 882 medallions spit out of the boss in 1 Master Form and 1 MP bar. An incredible feat to be achieved. And he has to finish off, of course, with some more Comet usage. 1 teleport from the boss. He's got to sneak one in, a second one, because he really wants to be a jerk at the end. But he is going to finish well with 2 finishers and get some sweet rewards from that one.
Yeah, upgraded his baby magnet to a Magnera, so its area of effect, its drawing powers have become even stronger. But the crown jewel of what we just picked up there was Flare Force, our second and final limit we're picking up here with Donald, allowing him to use Duck Flare. This run, I mean, it's great. We get to be the closer, but debatably should have been the opener on July 4th, because we're about to get real festive with Donald's limits right here. But now we go into Halloween Town 2, the shortest of the worlds, but in the course of 3 fights in this world, we're going to utilize 3 different limits to get through it. First off, making sure we got Donald and Goofy in the party for a little group Trinity action for a little magnet shuffle. Don't blink. These Lock, Shock, and Barrel, their health bars are about to go down real fast. Magnet into that group Trinity. Watch them getting bounced in and out of that Mega Overdrive over and over and over again, taking tons of damage, and they're already all 3 down. Now we judge Ninten's golfing skills.
Yeah.
Oh, he lines it up 2 for 2. Could this be a 3 for 3 on a GDQ stage? Wow. 3 for 3.
The Eagle.
The Albatross. My God. Someone's been playing Mario Golf this week. My God.
Incredible. But we're just moving on. That's the thing, is in these second visits, you just keep going. There's no gummy missions to deal with, a break in between every world. You just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. So he's going to use some skateboards because they have a few now in a few of these second visits. But now he's heading back to the town square for a fight here. This is some really scary enemies in it. So he's going to try to use a dance call at the beginning here, right after a reflect. Dance call is going to pull all the enemies into that reflect and deal some sweet damage to them. But importantly, if he can take out all enemies at basically the same time, he can collect all 4 presents before the next wave spawns, which is exactly what happened there. And if you don't collect all 4 presents before the next wave spawns, things tend to go poorly.
Yeah, and now we go into RNG, the mini game. Let's see, how many brown boxes are going to be able to pop out? He needs to build the counter up to 100. Every different size box will give you a different amount towards that. The little tiny red boxes, they'll give you 1. The yellow boxes, you hit them with 3, they'll give you 5. There are green boxes and there are brown boxes. The brown boxes are the best because they give you 20. Ooh, there's already 1. Ooh, looking juicy. Get it racked up. Very nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not seeing a ton of green ones. Of course, 2 spit out as soon as I say that. I need to just say it.
Say it again.
It's terrible. Bad RNG. Where are the,
my God.
the green boxes?
Oh, that was beautiful RNG. That was actually really good RNG.
Right at the end there, yeah, finally got a lot of larger boxes. But after the present wrapping, it's all about the experiment fight, the final fight here of this world. Now, experiment is a really difficult fight, very easy to die on. He's going to start with Duck Flare, that new limit that we just got from Grim Reaper 2. It's going to send a bunch of fireworks. Happy, late July 4th, everybody. Send a ton of them directly into the boss. He uses the finisher pretty quickly there, and then a bunch of combos to kind of break the boss apart. Has to worry about guarding the boss because he doesn't have MP for Reflect. Then he's going to send the one piece back over into the head here because that'll reform the boss. He's taking a hit, so going to play it a little bit safe here. Go into limit form as well, although he was actually going to do that either way so that he could use Ragnarok or Infinity there to deal a lot of damage. Also, got all his MP back, so he reverts, goes back to Duck Flare, and some combos here, and hopefully this is going to be enough to finish the boss off all in this single limit.
Yeah, for whatever reason, specifically on the English versions of Kingdom Hearts 2, Duck Flare, Flare Force just lasts on screen for like an hour longer than it does in any other version of the game. So that is what actually makes it. It's pretty common, like a lot of people run the Japanese versions of a lot of these games where like maybe the text would save some time. Not so fast here in Kingdom Hearts 2. Faster to run here because Duck Flare stays on screen for so long and deals so much damage. Great job. Now on to Agrabah, where we don't get to use Flare Force at all.
Yeah, no, Agrabah Flare Force is not going to be, it's a bummer. It would be so useful, but most of this visit is going to be taking place on carpet, from the movie, Carpet. You're going to be flying around. Yeah, great movie.
Best Disney movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't think I necessarily agree, but it's up there, all right? It's up there. We'll give Bobby a chance in a little bit to tell us all of your favorite Disney names, Disney movies, that is, maybe. But first, we got a fight here with some rapid thrusters, some hookbacks. Hey, they came back. Don't need to use their back cry this time, though, because we've got Reflect and Magnet. He's actually going to prompt an attack from these enemies, so that way he can reflect while setting up a magnet as well to finish off those last few sorcerers there. Those aren't sorcerers, whatever they're called.
Fortune tellers.
Fortune tellers, yeah.
Yeah, and again, that is all dealing a ton of damage because of how splash damage works in this game. It just deals a ton of hits really, really fast. Reflecting attack into a magnet so that they're bouncing in and out of those attacks constantly. So doing the fights on the carpet is very, very annoying because they take a lot of your tools away and all the enemies can kind of fly around. So you'll see for both of these fights, Ninten's going to try to like bait them towards the invisible walls so that they can't move around as much, and constantly use these chains of bring in the enemies, reflect their attack into a magnet. The magnet will stay on screen long enough to draw the next group of enemies in. They'll be ticked off. They'll retaliate. You reflect that into another magnet, rinse and repeat till all the enemies are dead. So now throw up the magnet. These enemies are going to be upset. You're going to reflect that into another magnet. Finishing leap to destroy them, pop an ether in between to keep healthy on MP. Nice double reflect there to avoid taking a death there to the Crimson Jazz, very annoying enemy, and able to take them out with enough MP to do the next phase of the minigame.
It was a little scary too because the enemies kind of spread out a little bit at the end there. Not sure if they took the full reflect damage, but made it work. So now we got to do a small little mini game here where you kind of hit these various switches with certain magic. You actually need thunder, blizzard, and fire all used here. You can see that Ninten was double checking his magic menu to make sure that he had fire prepped and ready to go. Gonna use the blizzard on this one, head over to the next one and use fire. But then we got a bit of an auto scroller. You can die in it, but it's probably not gonna be too big of a deal. So Bobby, I want to hear some people's favorite Disney movies if you got some.
I do. And since I have the power here with the mic, I'm going to actually start off with the correct answer, and then everybody else, I'll read their answers as well. But But Seito Kiyaba donates $25 and says, let's talk about one Disney movie that stands out above the crowd, a Goofy movie.
I'll take it.
And Takubun donates $20 saying Goofy movie is the best Disney movie. I know there's many others who will see eye to eye. But there were some honorable mentions here. NYGOG donates $5 saying Emperor's New Groove, no touchy. $10 from Lagan saying Sword in the Stone is my favorite Disney movie. Thanks for all the entertainment this week, runners. $5 from Apollo that says my favorite Disney film is the criminally underrated Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah. We have $20 from Cthulhu. Cute chat. My favorite Disney movie is legit Black Cauldron. Give me Black Cauldron World, Nomura. Do it.
I'm going to throw this out there. That's never going to happen, but move on.
And then Odd Directive donates $20 saying favorite Disney movie has to be Princess and the Frog. So why hasn't that been a Kingdom Hearts world yet?
Good question. I gotta go with Lion King myself. I'll be honest. I think that one's still up there. Although Tangled is pretty darn good.
Tangled's top 3 for me. Beauty and the Beast, great. But Shrek, a classic. Move on.
Keep going, Bobby. We got a little bit more time.
Let's see here. Kelly O'Brelly donated $50 saying The Nightmare Before Christmas will always be my favorite.
Good choice.
$50 from Eto that says best Disney movie is obviously The Emperor's New Groove. All other answers are invalid, Kappa. No, we've already established it's Goofy movie. Is the answer. Speaking of that, Mega Guts 549 donated $25 says I will stand out and say Goofy movie is my favorite Disney movie. I hope you see eye to eye with me after today.
Oh no.
Oh, he took a hit. Oh, thank God.
Have you
ever
died there at the end?
No. Well, I mean, maybe in like randomizer, but
right, because you're messing around.
Not around.
Yeah. All right. That's the end of the auto scroller there. Be sure, everybody, I can see we are getting closer and closer on that Sephiroth Super Boss incentive, but there's not that much run left, so please make those donations happen now. Come on, you could stay up a little bit longer to watch that Sephiroth fight happen. Before that, though, we got the Genie Jafar fight, and this is one that was labbed out so many different times by runners to try to make it as efficient as possible. You see, Genie Jafar has what we call a desperation move, or DM. You're going to hear that a lot for the rest of the run. That is a move where he will turn the entire screen dark, become invulnerable, waste a ton of time, and potentially try to kill you. And we want to try to avoid that happening, because here on level 1, that could be a problem. So Ninten's going to do that by starting out with a ground combo into a finishing leap to pop himself up into the air and do 2 combos, using a blizzard just to make sure that he had bypassed an HP gate by the boss there. And then he's going to wind him up with that reaction command, go for 2 air combos using those horizontal slashes in between before those double finishers. Then actually go in for a 3rd one as well, try to land all the hits. I think one of them might have missed, hard to tell. If everything goes right, though, he's going to then knock him in the rock hard abs for a little bit, go for another ground combo here, guard break into finishing leap, and then back into those air combos, horizontal slash into double finisher. 2 times is the ticket, back down to the roll up reaction command. Comes back on over with the slide dash maneuver from the carpet available to him. Decides, no, I'm just going to go for those air combos. Go for an aerial spiral, some double horizontal slashes, and then finish things off with a blizzard. Great job, Ninten, completely skipping over the DM.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Once he goes below about 1.8 bars of health and he is free from your stuns, that's when he'll like to go into the DM. And basically, if he goes into that DM, here at level 1, Ninten probably would have been dead. Honestly, perfectly executed on the combos right there. It was to the point where, like, it wasn't even really that close at the end. Ninten absolutely executed the heck out of that.
Yeah, I had a room for like another full combo,
right? Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So with that, 3 worlds over on the left side done. We just got to take on Beast Castle and Land of Dragons. He's first going to stop here in the parlor to actually reset that as a place he can warp to. He's going to want to warp there here in a little bit after this next fight. Going to swap out Beast for Donald and Goofy, because once again, we want to utilize Group Trinity. We're going to wait for these Dragoons to potentially move in, but they were kind of being jerks to him, so he's instead just going to Magnera into a finishing leap, popping him up in the air to Group Trinity to once again deal a ton of damage. on the Magnet Shuffle and take him out with the Group Trinity afterwards.
Yeah, that's going to be the bread and butter combo for a lot of the mob fights that we still got going on, but not all that useful for bosses for the most part, so not going to be using it there. Back into Wisdom form we go because there's a good section of movement here, just quick running all along these stairs, trying to take the straightest lines possible so that he can go over and get access to Rumbling Rose, a Keyblade that would give him the ability to add an extra finisher, but I don't believe he's going to be using that. Instead, pretty soon he's going to get ready to switch to the Star Seeker Keyblade, a Keyblade that we haven't really used up until this point, besides it being on Valor form by default. And the reason he's doing that is for an extra combo in the air. It gives you just one more hit in the air for every single combo you do. It's going to be very important for the Zaldin fight coming up, which is probably the hardest strat in the game. We had the scariest fight in the game. This upcoming one's the hardest strat. Before that, though, Spike, we got some Dragoons here.
Yeah, oh, now they want to do it. All right, so they're all going to teleport at the same time. We're going to reflect that into a magnet, finishing leap to pop Sora up in the air for another Magnet Shuffle with Arcana. We're going to create a lot of distance between us and these Dusks now so that they get drawn in, very specific spacing needed in order to get off tons of damage right here. Same combo, rinse and repeat. Arcana with the magnet, love it. Match made in heaven. Great job, Genie. We're not going to dismiss him and go into the Zaldin fight. JHobz, I'm handing you this one.
I love this strat because it is so hard and I'm terrible at it. It's ridiculous. So he's going to start things off with a Reflect, and ideally, if everything goes right, he won't stagger the boss and he's going to land some damage, so he can do a second Reflect. That was perfect. That precision of movement is impossible to do, I swear. Then he goes into some Duck Flare here while also doing some aerial combos. But in between usages of Duck Flare, he's having to throw items to refill his MP and then has to do incredibly tightly timed horizontal slashes while we're shouting in his ear. I don't know how he was even close to timing those. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, we're seeing the desperation move. This is what he was trying to skip, and things can get pretty scary here. He's going to avoid that desperation move, the damage from it by, wow, I didn't even know you could just stand in that corner, apparently. That's really cool. But then back into Duck Flare we go, and he's got to try to stagger this boss who just doesn't want to let it happen. Finally does, though. He's going to go Mega Duck Flare with some aerial spirals to deal a lot of damage and deplete that last health bar.
Yeah, he had to. That is a fight that goes by so fast, and ninten probably made it look like it wasn't that hard, even though we saw the DM. All those horizontal slashes that he was doing in the air and the aerial dive to initially launch him into the air, all of those had to be close to frame perfect in order to actually stun lock Zaldin long enough for all of the Flare Force to hit him and then waste enough time coming out of a Flare Force for it to chain naturally into the next Flare Force. Unbelievable job there by ninten, and then being able to back it up afterwards. But now into the final Disney World of the run, it was Land of Dragons, our second visit, and we've got spoilers. It's Riku. He's going to start off with a ground combo right here, and he's going to try to reflect his initial attack and then go into that solo trinity with Sora, which, as we had talked about earlier, takes the splash damage from the Reflect and carries it over to Riku, saying, hey man, you missed this, you left this on the ground, you gotta eat it. And now popping into limit form right here, utilizing the reaction commands from the rapid thrusters when it's good.
Yeah, trying to stay alive there as well with it. Oh man, this thing is going slightly weird because the thing about Riku is that he does not stun from any of your attacks. Like, he does not stagger, he does not care. He will just tank the damage and keep doing whatever he wants to do. In the meantime, all these rapid thrusters are also trying to kill you. So ninten's having to really pay attention to everything that's going on here. Thankfully, you don't have to deplete the health all the way, so he was able to finish him off there. But that was definitely some good reactions and some improvising there near the end.
Yeah, and also, again, during all of that, if you notice, ninten did so much good work there to make sure he refilled that drive gauge as the whole thing was going. So now he can pop back into Wisdom form, use a beautiful fire right there to lift himself over that ledge, because Wisdom form doesn't have great hops, but hey, when you can fly, you don't need hops. Now going here into a series of 2 more mob fights, gonna pop out of Wisdom form and is going to immediately go for a Magnet Shuffle. Gonna just throw up Magnet flat, not even lock on onto anything and immediately use the Ultima. With the spacing here
Oh,
on 60
no.
FPS, we are going to instead use Duck Flare, which while it's cool, was not the thing we meant to use.
This is going to be weird now. All right, so Ninten's going to have to react to everything going on. He's going to pull an audible and go for some Genie here. Doesn't have the MP to go into the magnet, so he's just going to have to do the Arcana limit with the enemies grouped up around him without the aid of that spell. Thankfully, it looks like it's working pretty well. Just one Assault Rider left to go, but he's going to deal a lot of damage if he lands a hit, and unfortunately, he does.
I honestly didn't even know that they one-shot you.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
It's like a move you try to avoid so often.
All right, let's try it again. There we go. Now y'all can see, honestly, at this point, just as good. Now you can see what it was supposed to look like. And there you are, deal. This cannot kill, but
wow.
we're on GDQ. Let it happen.
294
Honestly,
hit combo. Incredible.
so far, you've had 2 one-shots that have caused pretty quick deaths here. I love those in a marathon run like this, so people will realize, like, oh, if he was making any mistakes, there's just death in this run. Very, very
Yeah,
brutal.
it was like 20 other times where I could have gone one shot like that. Besides those deaths.
Definitely.
Now we're going to be using the vicinity break right here in order to bait out a retaliation from all the enemies. Then that brings them in for the reflect, magnet, finishing leap, Genie Arcana combo on the landing. Get another magnet into another Arcana.
Yeah, and then straight into the end of the fight. I love, yeah, it's so good. You just get to watch him shooting away from the Keyblade. But just like that, we're going to head back out of the throne room. 8 chests in here, don't care about any of them. Going to move on to Storm Rider, which is a really cool fight. You use so many different things in this fight. It's really awesome. Spike, I think you love this fight even more than me, so I'm giving you the reins here.
Okay, sure. First up, Ninten's going to fit in just a little bit of chip damage there before he goes flopping around. And now we're going to go into some Duck Flare right there. He's going to have the iframes from being in the limit the whole time and try to deal out as much damage as he can. He's not going to worry about grabbing onto the horn. Can't do it while he's in the limit anyways. Get off some good damage. Pop an ether or 2 while he's down there so he can refill back up. Because guess what? Duck Flare is really good, and we want to utilize it again. Now, the good thing is by the end of this Duck Flare, it's going to break the 2 side horns enough to where it's going to knock him down on the ground. Going to try to deal some other damage while going into that. Pop out Genie right here. He's going to get to utilize some Wisdom Genie right here in order to get in even more DPS as it's about to knock Sora off, giving you a few more iframes to work with. Now he's going to drop down, pop another ether to start refilling up that MP. Wants to hold Genie from dismissing him until he's almost there so that Donald and Goofy come back later and they don't die from his rush attack right there. Now you're going to knock him up in the air, look all swag-like, and just wait until the MP comes back for the Duck Flare. Now try to go in for some more horizontal slashes, some more aerial dives, and then go for the finisher. Unfortunately, a little under damaged right there, so we're going to have to back up the fight over here. He does know he's consistently going to come over to this section, and now Nintendo's just going to kind of have to try to fill out the damage. He's pretty close, does have to watch out for this thunder attack, because, yeah, believe it or not, that'll one-shot you. Kamehameha waves, they can generally do that, but able to get the kill. We are all done with Disney World's chat, and with that, we are going into the end of the end game. There's like 20, 25 minutes left in this run. Well, I'm looking over. We need $35,000 to fight Sephiroth. We can't let him win. We're GDQ. We don't do that. So, Bobby, you have got like 4 minutes, my man. Read as many donations as you can. Tell me your favorite Disney movie. I don't care what it is. Just read me some donations.
All right, well, we have a $20 donation from Sumichu saying, my friend Nock promised he would play Dead by Daylight with me if we hit 3 million. All I want to do is game with my friend. JHobz, Spike, Ninten, help me out here, please.
Hey, it's up to you viewers at home. We want to see those donations coming in. Come on, Sumi needs to play some DBD, apparently.
We have a $10 donation from Pistol Pete. Thanks for an amazing event and big cheers to all the streamers, event hosts, and volunteers. Sending my best from Stockholm, Sweden. And this is the signature, MSF employee and proud fan of GDQ. Thank you so much for all of your work, and we are so happy to be here to support MSF.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
We have a $50 donation from Relkin saying, shout outs to the gummy ship with the screaming Donald inside. P.S. Donate to get that Sephiroth Super Boss unlocked and a chance to win a PS5. And there is a $100 donation from Reverend Gumby that says, shout-outs to the donation with a PS5 inside. What are they talking about? Well, inside that $100 donation is 5 $20 bills. You only need one of those $20 bills to be entered to win a PS5. But also, we need that Sephiroth Super Boss fight. We have 245 out of 280, so be sure to click that incentive.
Wait, real quick, Bobby. Sorry. So, ninten, you know how to fight Sephiroth.
Yep.
It's an awesome fight, but you know how to fight Lingering Will too, right, Tara?
Oh yeah, I know how to fight.
Okay, well, what do you
Pretty much
think?
everything in this game.
What if we sweeten the pot for people a little bit? All right, what if that Sephiroth incentive became a double incentive, and you had to fight Sephiroth and Lingering Will? What do you think, ninten? That's your call. It's up to you.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's ready
I'm
to
down with
throw
that.
it down right here, improv style. The two hardest bosses in Kingdom Hearts 2. Gonna take on both of them for you guys. We need another $34,000. Let's make it happen.
A 2-for-1. Bobby, go.
Well, we have a $250 donation from Manny that says, here's a contribution to the $5 train for me and 49 others. Behold the power of math. And $250 from Jirochi that says, does this cover my Starbucks coffee? Maybe. Let's put it towards taking out Sephiroth. And $25 from Laszlo saying, here's 5 fancy Starbucks coffees towards getting that Sephiroth incentive.
Also, just a reminder, those bosses are done at level 1 and with the Kingdom Key as well. Because why? Why not just make it harder?
Why not?
Anonymous has donated $20, buying 4 tickets on that $5 train. And Zach the Robot donates $250 saying, I'm so glad that ninten gets to close out SGDQ. He deserves it for all his work. Also, I want to mention, if you have Amazon Prime, you also have Prime Gaming. If you haven't used that subscription yet, why not use it on the Games Done Quick channel? That also helps a whole lot. We have a $100 donation from Tobe Ramono saying, I want to stay up longer. Well, getting 2 extra fights will give you an excuse to stay up longer. We do have some other movie ones coming in. $10 from Rico saying, I'm donating again to ask, how on earth has nobody mentioned my favorite Disney movie, Lilo and Stitch?
Not a bad one.
And $50 from Patsikin saying, last donation for a great marathon. My favorite Disney movie has got to be Big Hero 6. Let's get that Sephiroth fight on our way to 3 million hype.
Oh, speaking of hype, we got a hype train in chat. People are excited. They're getting the Prime Gaming subs in and stuff too. But also, let's get those donations to that incentive. I want to see those fights.
I do too.
They are always exhilarating to watch. Get to listen to JHobz and I fumble around as we can't even beat those fights normally. Watch ninten take him down at level 1 with the Kingdom Key. Y'all want to see it? I see that going up. I see the number skyrocketing. 248,000. We're working our way towards 249, under $32,000 to go. But ninten, I don't know if y'all knew this, he's pretty fast at this game. And he is going into the final set of worlds right here, going back to Twilight Town for some underground movement. In fact, Bobby, you got another minute. Give me a few more donations as we're going down.
Well, how about a $2,000 donation from Fuleihan?
Hey,
Boy, let's go.
Hey.
The success of Games Done Quick and events like it is a testament not only to the community's desire to do good in the world, but also of the fact that it takes action to turn that desire into a reality. To all the viewers at home, and especially the speedrunning community, celebrate this collective success by carrying that spirit forward into your daily lives. Cultivate empathy for those whose shoes you have not walked in, and act upon the empathy to the extent that you can. That is how we can bring real good into the world.
Oh, thank you so much for the kind words, Vinny. Love you, dude. And let's move on to this next fight because we have yet more genie and magnet usage. And this time, ninten is specifically having to make sure to not be targeted on any enemies. So he's moving away from them and then pulling them all back in with Genie's Arcana. And the reason for that is it helps really boost that summon gauge. Look, it goes 2, 3, 4, 5. All of that after using Arcana, which drains about 3 or so bars every time he uses it. But the samurais, they don't want to do the same thing, so he's got to move up closer to them, lock on, magnet, and then go into Arcana again. He's still able to build up some summon gauge because of doing it this way, though, and thankfully should have enough to get his drive refilled just a little bit later on in this mansion.
Basically, the way you know if that fight went well or not is if on the freeze frame, then it has Sora standing inside Genie's massive mouth. It's great. So yeah, great job right there, taking out the mansion fight. Mickey was also like surprisingly not terribly unhelpful right there. He can try to knock them out of the combos right there, but it's good getting through and able to keep his drive around with Genie out. Now he has to complete. He did it. First try on the trivia question. Sea salt ice cream, the classic. And now already at the final fight of Twilight Town 3. Go ahead, Hobbs.
It's a hard one. Trying to remember to hit down. It's a real tough
sometimes
one.
I pick liver pepper.
So this is a two-part fight. This first part much less scary than the second part, but that's in the context of level 1, so everything's still scary. Gonna go with some reflect into magnet and finishing leap to pop himself in the air, and even use some fire in there as well before going to the duck flare. We're all about the different variety of tools in this run. By the way, I'm seeing that tracker move. It's going ping 10, ping 7, ping 50. Thank you all so much. Keep those donations coming. We got more of the same here for the start of this fight, but now we have some intense assassins spawning. So it is crucial that ninten does not let them break out and start moving around wildly. He's going to back away for just a moment because he knows more enemies are about to spawn. Some reflects whenever the assassins or dusks are about to start attacking him, just as that magnet ends. And then once he knows there's so few left, magnet into Trinity to finish things off.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Basically, coming out of that magnet, those assassins will try to one-shot you every time. So being able to know that's coming, reflect it into the magnet, tons of splash damage. But now we're into the final world. It is a boss rush from here. Utilizing Wisdom Forms for some movement, and now we get the Roxas boss fight. One of the coolest strats in all of Kingdom Hearts 2 speedrunning. Hobbs, I'm handing it over to you.
Oh, I love this one so much. This strat has gone through evolution over evolution throughout the years. He's going to open things with the classic, the reflect. He's got to block the damage and deal it back towards the enemy. Then do a full combo with 2 finishers. One of those missed though, so he's going to have to back things up just a little bit. He wants that retaliation there. Things are looking a little weird. He's going to try to back off and start this one over again. He's going to use Thunder, slide dash into the finishing leap, and then the blizzard so that he gets the retaliation. This is looking a little odd, but ninten has done this fight a ton of times. So limit form is the ticket now. Uses 2 finishers, the Zantetsuken and the Magic Burst there, and then prompts the retaliation and iframes through it, uses that invulnerability of the Ars Arcanum limit. But now he's out of limit form. He ran out. He didn't have a whole big drive gauge to use. So he's got to try to deal some more damage with ground and aerial combos. Goes in for the reflex and uses a magnet, but because things went off pace, he's unfortunately
I just wanted to show it off the correct way.
I totally agree. It's so worth it. And hey, you know what? You're just giving people more chances, more time to donate towards those Super Boss incentives.
Yeah, I just saw we just gained like $10,000 in the last like couple minutes. 258,000. Come on, chat. We need another 22,000. Ninten's nice enough to give you a second round at this beautiful Roxas strat. Let's see it.
So that
again, opening up with the reflect.
Yeah, that whiff on the second finisher is really what caused all the problems, and it's down to spacing and just a little bit about the movement. This time things were looking good. So now he tries to get in a couple of extra reflects, including an aerial one, making sure it lands on the boss. A double finisher into the slide dash blizzard reflect combo. Then as the charge is coming back from Roxas, he goes into limit form to cancel that charge and not take any damage. Then some combos on the ground, and unfortunately it's a real tight timing here. If anything goes even slightly wrong with this newer strat, Roxas will just instantly one-shot you.
Yeah, so what happened there was that there's a really tight timing with the R's when you enter limit form. And if you do it too early, you're probably going to die. So right there, I tried to overcompensate and do it a little bit too late, so I actually got hit before the R's.
Yeah. It's a rough one.
Ars Arcanum, the start of your limits with Sora, or in limit form, will have iframe properties to it. So he's trying to hit the revenge value of Roxas. And at that exact moment, that's when he pops into the R's. Unfortunately, that overhead finisher, for whatever reason, is doing some whiff action right here.
He recovered it, though. He was able to tell. So the way that these kinds of strats are developed is using that revenge value hidden number that when the bosses will retaliate. It's all centered around that and how much how much of a number will be added to that value from every single type of attack. So there's a reason that when things go wrong, Ninten knows, I'm going to go with an aerial attack here because it's going to add more revenge value from that missed finisher. Right into a magnet and Trinity to finish things off at the end, with the reflect as well, dealing extra damage. That Roxas fight is so beautiful.
That's you took 2 deaths there. I didn't even care. Like, it's such a cool fight to watch be done. So great job there.
We have 18,000 left for both Sephiroth and for Lingering Will. Be sure that you be sure that you actually select the incentive when you do the donation. Even though you put it in the comment, be sure to put it in, select the incentive. 18,000. We can do this, y'all.
Oh man, we're so close.
Let's keep going, chat. Now, going on right here, he just put on the 2 becomes 1 Keyblade that he just got access to. What that Keyblade does is it has an ability light and darkness. Basically, every time you use a form, you will either go into anti-form, like we just saw right there, or into final form. For the all intents and purposes, we're shooting for anti-form at this point. Now he's going to try to rebuild up that drive, get the distance away, group Trinity, use Ultima, and then he's going to use another instance of form right here to go into anti-form. This time by leaving the room, it takes your party members away. The game says, oh, okay, we'll just give you all your drive back. Every time you go into anti-form, your anti-points are lowered a certain amount. And now they're basically sitting at 0 right now. So now he can use drives all he wants without any fear of having anti-form pop up later on in the run. Great utilization of getting to use that in places where it saves time and it won't hurt you. Now we go into Xigbar, one of the most difficult fights in the entire run. We're going to try to utilize Duck Flare to try to get through the entire fight. Air-based combat, so we're back to Hero's Crest, giving us that air combo boost. He's going to let him do 3 laser attacks, and then he's going to start the Duck Flare to make sure he eats all the different damage here. He's going to try to fit in the finisher of Duck Flare at very specific points in his combos to make sure Xigbar doesn't... Wow. To make sure Xigbar doesn't break out.
I'm actually going to back this up in a certain way because he did like a lot of shots during the Duck Flare somehow. He wasn't getting staggered.
Yeah, that was very weird. So now we're going to sit here. We're going to hold the Duck Flare. Yeah, unfortunately, we're getting blue lasers right now. We'll see how well Ninten's able to back it up. The big thing we're trying to avoid here is any sort of desperation move. Now he's going to try to get to the side, pop into Valor form, revert out of it. He's got about 3/4 of a bar left. Double blue lasers. There's a lot of craziness going on right now.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we're going to have to eat the DM. He's going to pull us into another room. We got to do some survival strats with low movement at this point in the game. Going to try to jump over each of these. Donald is going to take the death.
The extra scary.
I have to say that was that was like definitely one of my that's never happened before moments. Yeah, Xigbar was just like eating the Duck Flare, and he was just like shooting still. I don't know how he was doing that.
That was so weird. The scariest part about this is that you don't have your party members alive at the end most of the time. But he was able to heal Donald and go in to Duck Flare to finish things off. I cannot believe that didn't end in death. Great job. But the hits keep coming. It's like Pearl Jam's debut album, 10. You know, you think you're done with Alive. You think you're done with Jeremy. No, you got Black sitting there ready to go. And he's just going to be moving on to the next boss fight here. We got Luxord. Now, this one's all about gambling and all about playing games. So he loves to kind of have this extra mini game to his boss fight. He is all about this time gauge. You don't actually have, well, the boss doesn't have a health bar in this one. You still have a health bar because that's fair.
Yeah.
So
you have 2 ways to die. He has 1 way to die. It's
right.
Good.
Yeah. You got to deplete this entire just time gauge. Now you can deplete it more by dealing damage to the boss. It's going to start off as Dice Form Sora, then bounce back away to dodge the attack, jump back in to keep getting hits so that he's able to deplete that form gauge much faster. And he's going to use some ground into aerial combos. Note we still have that Hero's Crest Keyblade equipped for the air combo boost. He wants the boss to ideally be using the mini game prompt, the reaction command, as much as possible once he starts looping them, but he also wants to try to get rid of these cards, and whenever the boss is going to retaliate with cards, try to make it happen in the air. Now he decided to kind of move into his little find me as a card version of, or, you know, portion of the fight, and he keeps using these cards. Not what we want to see. Wouldn't be as big of a deal, but things got changed when this game went to 60 FPS, and it made it a little bit more difficult to react and deal with those cards. going to deal some more damage after finding him. There's the mini game we're looking for. You're going to reflect it instead of playing along and go for a couple of air combos here, dodging away from the cards once again. Oh, things are scary now. He's trying to menu to limit, but was hovering over party. That's the scary portion.
Can I make you feel a little bit better? I'm going to make you feel a little bit better. You were talking about Pearl Jam earlier. You want to know what else is 10? We are $10,000 away from the Sephiroth and the Lingering Will Super Boss fights. 10,000.
Oh
Come
my
on,
God.
chat. Who doesn't like a good combo meal? We got the burger and the entire fries coming along. I don't know who are the fries in that combo between Sephiroth and Terra. I wouldn't want to face either one of them. They probably don't taste great. But now here we are going back into the Luxord fight. We're also seeing our first instance of Combo Master combos going on right here. Combo Master, an ability we just got from beating Roxas. That allows us to continue our combos even when the hits haven't actually landed yet. So you're seeing him sometimes on the ground. He'll utilize Reflect into a slap shot, into another Reflect. Slap shot that very quick, like a hockey puck. Going for that little slap shot right there. A very quick hit that allows you to stay safe and allowing each of the Reflects to land and have their own bit of damage go off. Landing those two aerial finishers with the air combo boost from the Hero's Crest. Seeing a lot more mini games now. Getting much better luck from Luxord so far. Going into another minigame. This is great because we can continually reflect them into another set of combos. Just keep doing this all day.
Loving really close to DM phase when Luxord will do his big attack to try to, finish off Sora and be invulnerable. But Ninten is going to try to skip it even on level 1. This used to be not worth doing. It was slower to do on level 1. But Ninten's going to try to make it happen for all of you now that he's just gotten this route so much lower and everything. Unfortunately, he didn't quite get him stun locked there for a second. I think he was a little bit worried about that card that was coming up behind him as well. Yeah, the card is in the back.
Yeah,
it was a real scary situation. You take the DM in those situations over the death because that death's going to cost you a lot of time with how little damage you're doing. Now he has to mark each of the spots in his command menu there with a circle. Oh no!
I was trying to show off a little bit.
I started with that quick snap right there. So good thing is, for whatever goofy reason, I was going to say, I don't think Luxord will attack you right here.
Oh my God.
No. Chat, we are giving you the
HP.
time needed.
1 HP.
Yep, that's
we're only $8,000 away now, $8,000, and we passed overall 2.85 million. We just passed that mark as well.
We
Let's
are
go, Chad. I want to see a 2.9.
Oh my God.
I know we're knocking on 3 million's door here. Come on, everybody. We're at the world that never was, the end of the game, the end of the world. Let's keep those donations coming. We've just always loved these big donation pushes from everybody at the ends of GDQs. It's so exciting. I cannot wait to feel that energy with everybody back in person, but for now I'm feeling it with y'all through the pipes and through the fiber optic cables that are delivering the internet to my house. Let's go with this Luxord one more time. We got the cards just kind of really being annoying and in the wrong place there for him, so try to use some thunder as well to just deal some damage from afar. Now we're getting some more mini games. Being up next to this column can be a little scary as well because these air combos, if any of them clank off of a surface, in the arena, then that's going to spell some bad news for Ninten. So he has to be really careful about his positioning there. Try to knock Luxord away from those columns whenever he can.
Yeah, so now at this point, Ninten has run out all of his MP right there. He's going to try to pop back into them as quickly as he can. Had just enough off 2 ethers and a little bit of time to get back in. So very nicely done. He's once again pretty close to that DM phase. So we'll see. He's pretty close. Yeah, he's going to try to go for the DM, and there are no cards on screen this time, so that's good. Already in the red, going to try to go for the full solo Trinity double pop right there. Now going to limit form. We're going to start with an Ars Arcanum. Ars Arcanums, to know, in limit form, we always try to skip using the last hit of it because that is the only part that actually adds any revenge value. So that's why they're allowing you to do this many hits, this much damage to them. That's it. First try. Let's go. Moving on. Time for Science.
4,000 left.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Coming up on $2.9 million. 2.9. That's probably a Kingdom Hearts game at some point. Let's make it happen.
Basically. All right, moving on to Syx now. Good job there recovering ninten, not letting the deaths get to you there. And Syx, we used to use Peter Pan on this fight in order to stun lock the boss for a cheese. That's not happening anymore. Instead, he switched his Keyblade over to the monochrome Keyblade. It's this black and white one from Timeless River because it has an item boost ability on it, which means that his ethers are going to recover more. So whenever he's in MP charge and he needs to use an ether, he can use just 2 instead of 3 to get all his MP back. Now trying to use a lot of Duck Flare here and then into Master Form as well, deal a little bit of extra damage, but more importantly, refill that MP. Get some reflects on the boss, and right when he's about to retaliate, he's going to go for more Duck Flare. Now look at the top left. That Berserk meter, that's full. He does not want the boss to Berserk at all, though, so he's going to prompt him for another retaliation, go for more Duck Flares. Aerial spirals in between are making so much more damage come out of these Duck Flares, and the guard break to finish it while Syx was mid-attack. Incredible.
God, absolutely gorgeous fight from ninten right there to actually keep him inside of the kind of properties of combos like guard break, to where he had a few iframes to work with on the retaliation, constantly forcing him to come back at him despite that berserk gauge being full that entire fight. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Another little quirk to point out there, you might have noticed ninten was doing a ton of those little aerial spirals where Sora's, I guess, spiraling in the air. For whatever reason, that does increase damage while Duck Flare is going on. Why does it do that? We don't know. We just utilize it. It's great. Bobby, you were about to say something.
I was. We're about $3,000 away. And I do want to say Sephiroth himself donated $50 saying, 1v1 me, you won't. Sephiroth does not believe in you, chat. I believe in you, though. $3,000 left.
Sephiroth would totally be that nerd at a Smash tournament who would go throw down some cash on the table and say, let's go. All this for $5? Sure. Here we are into Xemnas 1.
Yeah, Xemnas 1 is a really cool fight. It does start off with a forced, reaction command here, though. The face down on the side of a building, the classic anime. And there's 3 different prompts you can get here. ninten wants to specifically wait for the last one because it's going to do the most damage to the boss. And after that, again, reaction boost still helping us out here. It's going to do more damage because of that as well. After that, this fight can get pretty tricky. He's got kind of some different ways that he can handle. He's going to do an aerial combo to start things out, use 2 finishers because of that finishing plus. And now that combo master and reflect slapshot combo is really starting to shine. He reflects the first hit, goes into a slapshot, reflects the next hit, and while he's doing that slapshot, all the damage from the first reflect is applying to the boss. So that way when he does it the second time, he gets an extra refresh of damage. Now the boss into the next phase, ninten took a couple hits, but he's not too scared. Boss decided to stun himself because he still had not been stunned from the opening RC. Now a few more guard breaks, and now that he has just over 2.3 bars of health, ninten's going to go into a Trinity limit, use both phases of it in order to get as much damage as possible, slide dash into the limit form here, and then as Spike was saying before, that Ars Arcanum, if you don't use the finisher, it doesn't add revenge value, so the boss will not retaliate just from that. You could just take him all the way out.
You want to know who else is going to go out like that? You want to know who else is going to go out like that? Sephiroth and Lingering Will. We hit it. 280,000 raise.
Nice.
Now we're going for 3 million overall, but Sephiroth, you're going down.
That's incredible, and I can't even, again,
That's
we're
amazing.
so close to 3 million too. Oh my God, thank you so much, everybody. This is awesome. I'm so glad that ninten gets to show off these incredibly difficult fights.
Chat, can we become the first online GDQ to cross $3 million? We got 2.9, only 29,000 off, but here we are going into the final fights. We got one more big mob fight coming here where we're basically gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink. We might even throw in the kitchen sink in order to get through it. First off, just a little bit of a cinematic section right here, jumping through the buildings. Doesn't this look cool? Didn't every kid want to do this growing up? Jump around cutting buildings with a candy cane. By the way, this is the Decisive Pumpkin Keyblade. We got it from Halloween Town. It has combo boost on it. Just like Hero's Crest had air combo boost, it has combo boost. So all of our ground finishers will do more damage. First, we're gonna shuffle out Riku for Donald and Goofy, making sure they're both in the party, because we're gonna wanna have Group Trinity coming up for the start of the final mob fight of the run, the core fight. He's gonna first do 3 sets of magnets, and without you wasting his MP, Just take out one more enemy right there. That's going to be enough to take out the right cylinder. Over to the left cylinder we go. We're going to utilize our last magnet, putting us in MP recharge. But we're immediately going to pop into Master Form because Magnega in Master Form just stays on screen like duck flare lengths of time. So it's going to knock a lot more enemies back for half the MP. Knock a few more enemies back. We want to be in Master Form because there are two main waves of nobodies that will pop out in the core fight right here. He's going to magnet the core right here, which will deal enough hits quickly enough to where it actually just skips to the first enemy phase of the fight, spawning all the enemies in. They get wrapped in, jump, throw up the magnet for the magnet shuffle, and now do some group Trinity shenanigans, dealing enough damage to completely clear out the first wave of enemies.
Yep, they're gone just like that. And most importantly, ninten got enough drive gauge back in order to use some of his other tools. See, look, bottom right corner, 4 drive on Sora right now. So he's going to go with Genie this time. Unfortunately, some of the enemies were not caught in that first magnet, so he's having to do a little bit of cleanup here before he gets on with the rest of the fight. There it is. The door has finally become unlocked. So he's going to do a few combos while he's trying to switch Genie's form so that way he can keep doing extra horizontal slashes, that Genie canceling, and now magnet while not targeting anything into Arcana so that he can do this real big attack with Genie once again. Uses a lot of that summon gauge, but he builds it back up at the exact same time.
Yeah, might be able to back this up with a dropout into a magnet. He's going to want to dismiss Genie here in a second. And then that'll allow Donald and Goofy to come back in for another magnet shuffle. Watch that drive gauge as it fills back up. And now hopefully this will both kill all the enemies and start dealing damage to the core itself.
Unfortunately, some of the enemies were spreading around, not great. And when there's fewer enemies, like there was only one assassin left there, the magnet shuffle technique does not work very well. So he wasn't able to get as much damage as he was hoping for on this core. So he's going to use some duck flare to help him out and keep him safe, because the building is going to start attacking him back in just a little bit. Oh, he already dodged one. He's got to be really careful now about the second. He's trying to finish it off. He's going to just pop into Valor to stall himself up in the air. I love it. And then move on with the fight. Has to back out of that one, though, because he does not want to be in Valor for the start of this fight.
Yeah, wanted to go into Valor form anyways at the end, just to once again refill that MP bar. And now he's going to go for more of those combo master techniques. Reflect, slap shot, reflect, into another reflect, into the guard break. Make sure Donald is up and alive, because we're going to want him for his July 4th festivities to go ahead and deal a ton of damage. Reflect, Blizzard reflect through that armor right there, and now go into the duck flare. He wants to work Armored Xemnas down to about 1.5 bars left of health before utilizing the finisher of duck flare, and now go for the full combo with all those iframes to take him out. Beautiful Armored Xemnas 1 right there from ninten. A lot of things went haywire there in the core fight, and all of those fights are chained together, but ninten was able to back it up, make it work, didn't freak out. Might have freaked out a little bit, I don't know. But here we are, now going into the Blue Eyes White Dragon fight. That is canonically what we're calling this stupid thing. It is 3 minutes, it's 5 phases, it goes on way too long. Rando cuts it out, it's great. But now Bobby, tell us about some donations, because I want to hit some milestones with 2 fights left after this.
Well, how about this $6,000 donation from Fangamer? Hey everyone, Fangamer here. One last time, we'd like to thank everyone involved for making SGDQ 2021 possible. GDQ staff, MSF, the volunteers, the runners, the tech crew, the sponsors, and the many of you at home who donated or bought sponsored merch. Thank you so much. We had a blast participating and look forward to the next GDQ. We have a $100 donation from King Kong Wrong that says, on behalf of the MSF gift processing unit, thank you to our colleagues and to all the runners for all your work this week. And we have a $100 donation from Maiku Yama. I am running on caffeine and fumes, but it's all worth it. Always great to see GDQs bring everyone together for a great cause and foster a positive, inclusive, and nurturing community. I never thought when I started these events way back in 2010 that GDQs would grow and become the great event that they have become today. These events would not be possible without all the staff, volunteer, donors, and yes, you too, chat. I can confirm, you're a cute chat. Here's to another decade of GDQ. And there's a question here, $1,000 donated by no-name user about that Sephiroth fight. has ninten practiced or will he wing it?
Please, God, tell me you practiced.
He did a little bit.
I didn't practice this apparently because I used the triangle button too early.
Yeah, he's trying to actually keep using finishers constantly, as you're seeing, and wants to save those mega lasers for very specific points. These finishers he's using by canceling out the end of the finisher with a laser, similar to how he was doing that genie canceling. But I noticed, chat, we've got that green bar at the bottom of the screen that's like inching super close to 3 million there. And I did some math, all right? That's right. I broke out the abacus because I don't trust calculators. And I did some math, all right? We all know that if everybody watching, all 68,000 plus of you watching, donated $5, we would surpass 3 million. That's all well and good. We know that. I know you know that. But did you know that if even half of you did a $5 donation, we would still bypass or go right past that 3 million? That is incredible, and I think we can make that happen because I know a lot of people went in earlier when we were talking about it, and maybe some folks were on the fence. But if just half of the people watching donate $5, we will go flying past 3 million. We're into Armored Xemnas too.
God. And again, here on level 1 damage, look with the correct combos, how to link magic like Blizzard and Reflect and even Thunder into those combos, how he can do tons of damage even here at level 1. Really, really cool stuff here by ninten. We got a 3-phase fight right here, and right there he performed the snowflake skip. Normally, Xemnas is going to try to hit you with some snowflake-like lasers. However, if you do an aerial dodge right as you're knocked out, hey, you at home, you can do that trick right there and then fly straight to him, saving a bunch of time. Now we're going in for more combos. As soon as he hits that revenge value, he has to know to throw up that reflect, still use his attack as a weapon against him. That hits the second HP gate, knock him out. Now ninten gonna try to mash it out, get above all 3 of these sets of snowflake lasers. That is gonna push these buildings coming towards you up really high in the air to where he can go for this fast building right here to get back in for the final phase of the fight.
And then going straight back in. He's got to do an aerial dodge and then a glide to skip a snowflake attack from the boss. Get up at close and personal, and his MP is pretty low. He wants to end this fight with a lot of MP, so he's going to go for a couple of reflects before throwing in ether, and then has to do one more reflect, and then hopefully should be able to finish this without too much more MP usage, but he was a little low on damage. That should still be okay, but if things go...
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, if things went south, he could take an intentional death or, try to squeeze in a spot to toss an ether on this next fight. But it is the final boss, everybody. Zebra Xemnas, if you want to call him that. Final Xemnas. Reflects the first attack so that he can avoid a cutscene and then gets immediately thrown up into the air. He's weaving reflects in and out of these reversal reaction commands, which takes some really tight timing and a lot of knowledge, because not every Xemnas you see is the real Xemnas, and not all of them will take damage. He only wants to land his attacks on the one that will take damage.
Yeah, right there. Knows the 2 of them are coming in. Reflects that one-shot attack from Final Xemnas, from the Zebra, and then chains that directly into the session limit here with Riku. Again, we don't have Donald, we don't have Goofy. We only have so many tools. So now he's going to utilize most of this attack. He's going to drop out before the finisher and then limit explosion in order to have the iframes through his Vine attack right there. And then he's going to try to work his way through it, get down his health bar as far as possible to avoid as much of the last part of the attack as possible. He's gonna do a slap shot, throw an ether, slap shot again, throw another ether to keep him stunned, get that MP back off a double stun, and now he's going to do this reflect dance one more time, and that is gonna be it. That is gonna put him into the laser dome, and about 80 seconds, it's gonna be time. Bobby, read me the last of your donations here, because we got Sephiroth and Terra coming up real soon.
Well, we also have Sephiroth, who just donated $5. It says, can I have my $100 back in change for $5? I'm kind of scared of ninten now. No, you cannot. You are going to get it. Suave Zombie donates $250, says, let's go 3 million. $100 from Fun Teller saying 3 million hype.
Here's
And
the thing, too, real quick. I just donated while commentating. If I can do that, you all can do it while you're watching from your beds, your couches, your office chairs. I believe in you. Sorry, Bobby. One more.
it's okay. We have a $10 donation because any donation amount gets us closer to that 3 million. $10 donation from Astral Bodies. I know you want to see 3 million. You know you want to see 3 million. So what's the problem?
That is true. All right, this boss is about to be over, and when he, fully loses his health, that will be time. Ninten, are you going to finish off with some swag here, or you're just going to finish him straight up?
Yeah, I'll show off some swag, actually. Just one of my favorite things to do. So pay close attention to what happens here.
All right, I'm excited. What?
I didn't know that one. That was time, yeah.
Yeah, it's time. That's time.
Wow. So what Ninten did was use a fire, and then immediately, was it Session or Trinity that you ended up doing?
Trinity, yeah.
Trinity, to pull himself directly to the boss again and just finish him off with fire. That's incredible.
Nearly a
do you guys know what the time was?
13. Yeah.
Okay, so we got to estimate it.
Yes.
Yeah, we got. Last night, I had some costly deaths there at the end, but I did like showed off so many cool strats, everything. And level 1 is such a brutal category.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it is, and that's the thing about level 1 is it's so. What's brutal about it is that you have to be. It's hard to be consistent at it. Like every strat can go wrong in so many ways. Like crit or beginner, like any other 90% category, it's a lot easier to be consistent at every strat. But with level 1, deaths just can happen like out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you have a lot less defense, and also just your tools aren't as good in order to avoid everything. Hey, Final Form got to be on screen.
Yeah, actually, real quick before you start, Ninten, you want to give us a quick rundown of your abilities and stuff, and show everybody you're at level 1 since you loaded a file here. And also, if you had to guess, about how long you think it would take you to beat this.
Yeah, it would be. This plus Terra should be about 5 minutes, I would say.
Ooh.
5 to 6, 7.
All right, so we got some of the abilities here. What you got? You got guard, horizontal slash, finishing leap, slap shot, flash step. A lot of the same stuff that we were using at the end of that last run, but also full growth abilities, because that's really important because it means that he can move around the arena really fast, or just a lot better compared to what we were seeing in the actual run itself.
Yeah. In addition to that, he also has the other great ground combo finisher, that being Explosion. You'll notice it looks real sick. But here we are, Sephiroth done with the base Kingdom Key at level 1. It's probably not what they meant for you to do with this fight right here, but opening
up that timer. There's a dodge roll on Sephiroth instead of going for the reaction command, just because it's a little bit faster. Now, what he's going to do is he's trying not to do this loop on Sephiroth. In fact, instead, he's going to keep pushing him all the way to his revenge value so that he can keep baiting him to do more attacks. He's doing that by using a full ground combo, which in this case is actually 5-hit combo instead of a 3-hit combo, due to a couple of combo pluses. Every time you dodge roll that attack, I swear, I have my heart skips a beat. I have a mini heart attack. He's gonna dodge away again, reflect into a full combo. That explosion right there that does the massive, big kind of blue and white looking attack deals a lot of damage and adds a lot to that revenge value so that it keeps forcing Sephiroth to get past his number that'll force him to retaliate. Now we're already into the second phase of this fight, and you can tell because the orbs have started to spawn. That's right, there are orbs in this video game too, chat. And he's still going to be sticking with a very similar strat here. Go for guard breaks into the explosions. That move where Sephiroth got all pink, that is the bane of every 10-year-old's existence. It will put you all the way to no MP and 1 health if you let him finish the move. So Ninten has to react quickly to prevent that one, even if he's all the way across the arena like he was there. He's also going to use a lot of horizontal slashes whenever he needs to attack in the air, and reflect whenever he needs to get rid of these orbs on the ground. We're moving up to the third phase here in just a moment. Sephiroth will soon power up, and while he's doing that, Ninten's going to try to interrupt the end of his power up. First, though, just a few more attacks from the boss.
The fact that you've timed all these dodge rolls so well is so good. Now has to get up there. Yeah, good option into the Trinity limit right there to catch him, saying, hey, he's going to take all my MP anyways. I might as well put the MP in his face. Now going into the last phase, he's trying to time his combo to where the guard break and the explosion comes out as soon as Sephiroth becomes vulnerable to get hit. Goes into limit form right there, goes for the Ragnarok finisher. Saw him zipping all around, didn't want to deal with that. Caught him in the air before he got to do anything else. Down to the last bar and a half of health. Let's see what Sephiroth wants to do. Dodge rolling through that attack into another Trinity limit. Beautiful stuff. This should potentially set us up here for a limit form finisher here with a bar left of health.
It's looking pretty good. He does need to wait for Sephiroth to give him a usable attack, though. That's the one. Gets hit in the back, though, but so he's going to go into Ars Arcanum. He's probably going to die, unfortunately, He had
so
to go for
unlucky,
that.
dude.
Yeah. Like, if Sephiroth did any other move there, he was fine. But that move in particular. And even if he had done that, like, a little earlier, Ninten could have made it work. It was specifically he waited until he was already in the middle of the Ars Arcanum. That's okay.
That's right,
second chance.
Yeah, we can go through these 17 bars of health one more time.
Yeah, as chat is trying to go through the bars of health that are the last million. I see them. It's still moving up.
It's similar. They're both green bars.
Yeah, it's great. We're at 2.89. We are close to 2.9 already, and I know everybody out there has made miracles happen before. All right, back into this fight once again. Got those 5-hit combos on the ground. Combo Master lets him chain a reflect into that combo as well, so that's why he's doing that a lot of the time.
Good immediate reaction there from Ninten. Thought he was going to see a long combo right there, but instead we saw the reaction command did actually utilize it right there to save himself right at the end. He's pushing the corner right here. He's going to triple reflect to defend himself and then continue those combo pluses into a lot of ground hits, ending on explosion. Again, like JHobz brought up, explosion is great because it will just guarantee you getting that revenge value. Ooh, stopping him at the last second right as he was about to get off that attack. Once again, it would put us at 1 HP and no MP. Ooh, nice quick run through the attack right there, timing all of these very precisely.
Now he's using
only
Trinity
a little
limit.
MP left.
Yeah, exactly. His MP was almost all the way out, so he's either going to have to throw Mega Elixir, or you might as well just use the Trinity first into the limit form. He has enough drive gauges where he can use this twice in a fight before having to worry about building it back up. But because the boss shifted phases, he wasn't able to quite do too much damage that he was hoping to do with limit form there. But he did get the MP refill he cared about, so that way he could use Trinity once Sephiroth went for the Descend Heartless Angel move again. All right,
nice work we're seeing. Reflecting that reaction command coming back at him, because by putting on the double reflect, that delayed the splash damage from it long enough to where once again, Ninten got to use it as a weapon. Time these to where it's going to actually get the explosion off right as he's out of Sephiroth's iframes and knock all the orbs back. Nice dodge roll into the guarding of the attack, into another explosion. We're down to 3.5 bars left.
All right.
Spamming a lot of orbs.
Yeah, a lot of reflect to get rid of him.
Is a fan of the GDQ orb meme. He's a big fan. We get some orbs in chat for Sephiroth.
And if everything goes well here, Ninten's going to try to avoid the meteor attack from Sephiroth, but it's kind of up to him. He did use a strike rate as well. He's got to keep dodge rolling for the invulnerability frames in order to stay away from these pillars of fire. He gets him back into a looping combo by using the reflect again. Now he's going to go for Ragnarok or Infinity to finish him off.
Win!
Yes!
Let's go, dude.
Wow.
That was amazing that you were able to dodge roll out of the flame like that. And then the option play to go ahead, pop out, reflect the end of the fire pillar as it's about to end, and then carry that into Sephiroth. The confidence, I would have at least gone into Trinity limit right there to protect myself. Amazing job by Ninten. Had better options than Trinity and got the W. But now we got one more to take down. I think he was the burger. We need to go find the fries, and that is Terra over here. No, I'm sorry. Terra's like the big whopper.
Yeah.
He's a big boy over here.
There was That was just amazing. I was just so astounded by the ending and stuff. So ninten took off guard break now as well, which means that every time he uses a ground combo, the finisher is gonna always be an explosion, and that's exactly what he wants to happen. Now Terra is a very difficult fight, and he has some moves that can one-shot you right away. So he starts off with a duck flare just so that he can be invulnerable in case Terra uses one of those moves. Now, whenever he can actually start attacking Terra, who is thankfully giving him some good patterns right now, he will try to do a series of long combos. The reason for that is take a look at the top right of that health bar. He's dealing like no damage. It's very little, but now it's increasing over time the more hits he deals to the boss. And that's because Terra just has this armor this armor property to him that it breaks down the more you hit it. There are also two big phases that Terra could be doing, or two big types of attacks Terra could be doing in the first two sections of this fight. The first one is the Rising Sun pattern of attacks, and that's exactly what we're getting now. It looks like the Rising Sun reaction command from the Armored Knights. That's what we want to see. There is a second type called Bike Phase, and that could show up in the second phase of the fight here. We really hope it doesn't, because Bike Phase makes things so much more difficult.
Yeah, he should be coming up on the end of the first phase. So you're actually going to see ninten right here utilize Duck Flare just to get him past that barrier, because as soon as he hits that HP gate, he will retaliate and he will kill you, especially at level 1. He'd probably do it even if you were a high level. So now we're safely into the second phase. We do not see Bike Phase. That is great. There's a bunch of different potential phases like JHobz is talking about that he could pull from. Now popping that elixir there, making sure that he has full MP to work with, good options. Now getting away from him after the Rising Suns, get a little closer in with the quick run and start working his way down here in phase 2. Again, as JHobz is talking about, a hidden armor mechanic that breaks down as you go through the combos. Terra has a high revenge value number, one of the highest in the entire game. So he does let you wail on him quite a bit just to kind of balance the fight a little bit.
But he can be a jerk and do just so many different number of moves at the end of that Rising Sun. He can do a single whip, a double Rising Sun, a double Rising Sun into a whip. So ninten has to make sure that he's close enough to punish the boss if the boss lets him punish him, but he also needs to be ready to run away as soon as that whip happens, because otherwise it will be instant death. There's the second of 3 ground combos he does in each of these opportunities for punishment. Got to get away from the whip this time, probably into a Rising Sun after. That is exactly what ends up happening. Oh, the double Rising Sun, the whip into double Rising Sun. So ninten's getting closer to that last bar. So I believe he's going for the Duck Flare here in order to try to get to the last HP gate.
Yeah. Now he's about to go into his DM phase. So you're going to see him disappear and spawn all these little lasers right now. He's going to have to avoid them at first, then they're going to pop away, and he's going to go into the most majestic, terrifying looking DM in the world. He's going to try to prep his limit form right here and then get in position. A double guard into a dodge roll, aerial dodge away, and he's going to try to get to a wall. He wants to have a wall to his back. He's actually going to utilize this pillar right here so that Terra will not spawn behind him. Now he's going to dodge roll into the combo, thunder him once, thunder him again, and now go into final form. He's going to try to utilize final form Firaga right here, which does not add revenge value and is good at shredding through his health bar right now.
Yeah, it will just completely demolish it. Take a look at how much damage that's doing, and he can't quite get into a second final form, so this time he's going to go into limit form. He started off with an Ars Arcanum, has to be a little worried about the rock out there, because if the boss runs into it, he might retaliate. There's one more health bar to go into another Ars Arcanum. Is that going to be it? And time.
Wow. Terra, beautiful first try there. Not seeing that second DM. Great job. Had just enough drive. 5 to the final, 4 to the limit, and death to the Terra. Great job, ninten. Great showcase all throughout the night here in Cage 2 FM.
Yeah, I just
Critical mode level
just
1.
want to say that in practice, Sephiroth was the one that I got damages every try, and then Terra is the one that I kept dying to.
That's
it's
what
funny
I was
how that
going to
works
say
out.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, ninten, just amazing job. And once again, like, thank you so much for having me and Spike on for commentary. I love talking about this video game and hyping up the donations and everything from all of the viewers. It's so fun, and I'm so glad we get to do it at the closing, even though it's 3:30 in the morning where I am. I'm still unbelievably excited. So thanks for having us, ninten.
Thank you so much for commentating. I would not have been able to commentate this on my own. Such a hard run.
All right, and I mean, Spike, any words from you as well?
Yeah, I mean, this has been overall just an amazing SGDQ. I feel like every time I've turned the stream on, there's been amazing gamers with amazing talents, tons of great commentary across the board, and I'm just so happy that for the first time in 10 years at a main GDQ, Kingdom Hearts got to close the event. Again, Uranium Anchor threw it down with a donation all the way back in simulated Twilight Town, like 15 minutes into the run. But 10 years ago, Puexel and I got to do a race of Kingdom Hearts 2. We didn't even know how to fight half the bosses because we impromptu made it like all worlds at the end. And 10 years later, ninten, one of the legends of Kingdom Hearts 2 speedrunning, of just Kingdom Hearts speedrunning in general, getting to show it off for you guys. And getting to show off also right here, showing you a little out of bounds, the core skip.
Yeah.
Don't push me inside. That was so weird.
Yeah, this is actually a clip found that actually saves a bunch of time. But yeah, this was a joy to get to commentate this and just once again get to be a part of showcasing. I just love Kingdom Hearts 2 as a speedrun. I think it's one of the best speedruns of all time. There's so many dynamics to it. It's like y'all got to see, there wasn't really one overpowered technique. Duck flare, magnet shuffle, reflect usage, limit form stun locks. All these different tools got utilized all over the place. And I don't know, the game's just really well designed. It's got a great combat engine. So I'm glad ninten got to show it off for you guys.
Oh, ninten.
Yeah, and I just want to say quick shout outs to the Kingdom Hearts community and to, again, JHobz and Spike for commentating. And then big shout outs to Blackwolf for the amazing hosting.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then shout outs to Insert Logic for pushing down level 1 and all the Kingdom Hearts 2 categories a lot. He really optimized the game a ton since he picked up.
Insert Logic did like a ton for level 1 and a lot of other categories too. This game was really incredible to see that like just get pushed lower and lower while he was running it. Well, I think that's pretty much going to be it for us. Again, everybody go follow ninten, please. Like, please. He's just busting out a casual core skip while we're wrapping up here. Yeah, and thank you all.
Oh yeah, that's where, real quick, just play Kingdom Hearts 2 Randomizer. We've all been playing in the community. If you follow ninten, you'll learn more about it. It's cool. Sorry, I'll kick it back to you, JHobz.
No, I was just gonna say, unless you had any last words, ninten, I was just gonna say thank you.
Just thank you. Thank you, GDQ, for obviously giving me this opportunity to play the game. I've been like dreaming about running at GDQ ever since I started running it, and so it's amazing to finally have an opportunity to do it like on my own, just completely solo run.
Yeah, and thank you, Summer Games So Quick 2021. It's been a great week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and real quick, also, before we get out, we're going to go over to Sumi, who's going to do the final words, our wrap up, and talk to you a little bit with Doctors Without Borders. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Dude.
Am I muted? Production told me I'm muted, but I don't really know if I'm muted.
Great job, ninten.
I see the bar going up and down. Okay, I'm not muted. How about we start over then? We're going to start over from the beginning. Thank you again, once again, ninten, JHobz, and Spike Vegeta for closing out our event with a fantastic run of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. I'm not muted this time. This concludes Summer Games Done Quick 2021. Before we close out the show, I'd like to introduce Leila and Greta from Doctors Without Borders, who have a special message for everyone.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Wow, what an incredible outcome. On behalf of all of us at MSF, we want to say thank you so much for making this spectacular week possible. $2.9 million is truly amazing, and it makes an enormous impact, enabling our teams to provide emergency medical care around the world. As an example of how far your support truly goes, the dollars raised here this week is the equivalent of funding all of our work in Bolivia and Brazil last year. Seeing you rise to the challenges of taking this event virtual over the last 2 years has been awe-inspiring. Though we're sad to see SGDQ 2021 come to an end, we've enjoyed every minute of being here with you. We feel so lucky to be a part of this event, and we're so thankful to have the support and dedication of the Games Done Quick community.
And this year, we are celebrating 10 years of SGDQ and the 9th event for MSF. Overall, SGDQ has raised over $15 million for MSF, which is the equivalent of funding all of our work in South Africa in 2019. We would like to thank everyone on the GDQ team, the tech crew, all the mods, the hosts and the interviewers, every volunteer, and all the runners for their hard work and dedication. And thank you to everyone who has watched and donated throughout the week, and to our sponsors. And of course, thank you to the chat for all the memories, from the lamp and iron to the thousands of honks. It's been a blast being in chat with you. We can't wait until the next time when we can be in person again. Until then, be well, everyone, and thank you for an incredible week at SGDQ 2021 online.
Thank you so much, Leila and Greta. Doctors Without Borders has been a fantastic partner charity for Summer Games Done Quick, and we are super, super grateful for the ability to work with the organization. On behalf of GDQ staff, we'd also like to thank our runners, commentators, and volunteers who are integral to making GDQ happen with the highest levels of energy and the calmest levels of determination as we host over 100 speedruns happening internationally. I'd also like to take the time to thank our viewers and donors, without whom we would probably have an event with way less honks and orbs, not to mention the over $2 million that you all donated to Doctors Without Borders so that they can continue their mission of providing medical aid where it is needed most. We would also like to extend a warm thank you to our event sponsors who also support Doctors Without Borders: Twitch, The Yeti, Fangamer, Super Meat Boy Forever, Annapurna Interactive, Stonefly, NIS America, Game Ventures, Boomerang X, Death's Door, Phantom Abyss, Shadow Warrior, and Revita. Thanks to everyone's collective efforts, we were able to raise, let me check, $2,897,704, at least according to, the stream lag. So it might be more than that, but nevertheless, thank you so much for all of your generosity and for supporting the event, and also for supporting Doctors Without Borders, which is a fantastic cause. Can you all believe that we've been doing our events online only for over a year at this point? It feels like only yesterday that the staff made the difficult decision to move events online. Looking back on our first online event, all of the teams have traversed through unknown territory, carving out a path for us to bring our events online and reinforcing our foundations along the way. At the start of this event, Mike, Cool Maddie, and I were thinking about how much more prepared and confident we felt in everything being ready to go for this event, for an online event. And that can only happen because the staff and the volunteers have done so much over the last year to bring us here to this place of comfort and stability in all of our processes. As some, and only some, areas of the world begin to heal from a global pandemic, we're always thinking about what is next for GDQ. And no matter what happens, we're always going to strive for each event to be better and better than the last, and celebrate speedruns in the best way we can with all of you. And while we feel that some amazing things have happened for our online marathons, we have VR, we have rhythm games, we have so many different types of speedruns that we're able to bring to life because of the online format. The staff has decided that our goal for Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 will be to have an on-site live event. However, and there's always a however, we are aware that COVID-19 and its variants are still very much present. So we're taking steps to ensure that we can create as safe of an environment as possible for attendees before we fully commit to that. In the meantime, for those of you who enjoy GDQ and enjoy speedruns, Frame Fatales will return online from August 15th to the 21st of this year. And we have amazing content brought to you by members of the speedrun community on GDQ Hotfix throughout the year, right here on the GDQ Twitch channel. As we look ahead to another year of GDQ, we thank you for your support over the last 3 online GDQs and for your support throughout the year as well, and for everything that all of our initiatives and everything that we do. And we hope to see you all again in person real soon. Have a good night.
is where I wanna be, but I've been torn from out its pages for a need to be reborn. Taking all of the last chances I can get, the distance multiplies in rhythm with the dead. For any prayers you send my way that I get by, I'll pay you back when I've returned. I'll pay you back when I've returned. You said the town last night for me, it wasn't big enough for who I'm meant to be. But it's not easy taking it along. Well, every street recalls the time I saw you last. Well, every avenue, moment in our past. For every story that I bottle up in time, I'll tell you each when I've returned. Tell you each when I've returned. It's getting dark now and there's not much left to say. Just leave the light out each night and I'll find a way back to arms and eyes where I want to be found. But not these silhouettes that never make a sound. Candles that you burn so I might see, I'll pay you back when